Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom, Brother Naquam.
Shalom, shalom, brother. Right.
Coming back at you with these precepts and another Monday night fire. Giving, of course, our honor and our glory to Yahweh, Bahashima Mashiach Malak Yabushai. Double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting for the second coming of Mashiach Malak Yabushai. A hearty, mighty shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out there in the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their body as a living sacrifice, and enduring all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there, the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying, they're being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. And shalom to everybody tuning in live. Vernon Brody, Divine in Nature, Chunika Jenkins, Brother Believe, Don Israel, Quad Israel 23, Joshua Brewer, and everybody else tuning in that will tune in. Kwam Yasha.
Shalom, all Israel that's reading, praying, fasting in the last days, abstaining from all lusts and concupiscence, on fire for the Most High, his beloved son Yahweh Shah. Right, I want to get this quick precept to kick it out. Right now, we're going to do a Q&A / we're going to dive into the series of doctrines. There's a lot of doctrines going on in Israel. And if you're not watching and diligent and learned, right, you could be overthrown in the last days. Right, this is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3 and verse number 13. It says, but evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse. So men that have doctrines, philosophies, a way of life, whatever they're pushing and whatever they're teaching, they're going to wax worse and they're going to wax worse. They may come up with this doctrine. Next thing, 5 months later is this doctrine. A year later is this doctrine. And then they fall out the truth. Right? The Most High is what building up man and for man to continue to grow and be stronger in the last days. He's not for man to wax weaker and weaker. Right? It says deceiving and being deceived. Right? So you don't want to give heed to seducers in the last days. And seducers isn't always that man with that tuxedo on, that suit on in Christianity. It could be a deceiver with fringes, a beard on, and from your favorite camp. So if you're not watching, and in the precepts, and know how to rightly divide the word of truth, or you could be overthrown in the last days.
Yeah, you definitely, the Lord said, one man esteemeth one day above another, another esteemeth every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind, paraphrasing Romans chapter 14 and 5. So you definitely want to make sure that you're rooted in this truth and fully persuaded of what you're being taught, and fully persuaded of the doctrine that's presented to you. And you don't just take it and run with it, right? You study it for yourself, you analyze it, and you're fully persuaded that what you're being taught is the truth, right? This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? So they asked Yahweh Shah, well, what can we look for? What can we expect to see before your second coming? Here's the first thing Yahweh Shah said, Matthew 24 and 4. And Yahweh Shah answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. Now, he didn't go into World War III immediately. He didn't go into nation against nation. He didn't go into the Romans coming. He didn't go into a lot of the major prophecies. The very foundation of what he went into was take heed that no man deceive you, right? Because deception is prevalent in a nation, and deception could touch you, and deception could alter your understanding and make your mind perverted to start seeing things in the Bible that's not really there, right? You start seeing that, well, maybe this link up with this, and maybe this word mean that word, and you're using this to link up with that, and now your mind is all over the place, and you're blinded, and you're thinking things link up, and they don't link up. Right? You're going into a word in the Hebrew, you make a doctrine out of it. You go to a word in the Greek, you make a whole doctrine out of it. You're linking precepts that really don't link up together. You're taking one word, right, and you're using it for every single prophecy, right? So that's why you have to study to show yourself approved. You have to pray to Yahweh Bashmi Abashai that he doesn't give you over to give you over to bad doctrine or false doctrine, that he gives you over to sound doctrine. Right? Pray that the Most High guides you in the right direction, leads you in the plain path, because otherwise you're going to be caught out there, man. And you're going to have to deal with it. Right? Let me get one more real quick. This 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 3. It reads, for the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine. But after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. So the sound doctrine is there, but the Most High said the time is coming, and these are the days you're living in now, right? I mean, there's 1,000 doctrines on 1,000 different things. I tried to put a list together of just stuff that I know in Israel that's out there that's perverted, right? And I mean, a decent sized list, man. We're not going to have time to go into everything on this list. We may be able to touch on one, maybe touch on two, maybe fill some questions, but I mean, there's a lot that we have to go into, man, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Now, the Lord said the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, because you might understand this truth at first, and then somebody brings out something that really doesn't link up in the Bible, but then you start going to it. Or you have just itching ears and you want to hear what you want to hear. That's another reason why people go astray into doctrines. It's not necessarily that the precept isn't there. The precept is being broken down or catered to somebody's agenda or lust, and you end up going there because that's your agenda and that's your lust too, man. As if we came out and saying, okay, well, look, the Most High said that we could, you could, goddamn, you don't have to grow your beard out anymore, right? And a brother might say that because the brother, he got a job. The job said, hey, look, shave your beard. So now the brother looking at the precepts and he finding a way to justify his sin, and now he start teaching it. Then you never really wanted to grow your beard anyway, man. Never really grew in, it was patchy, couldn't really get right. So now you kind of shave your beard too. And you justify it with that same doctrine. It's called having itching ears, man. Just got to get that scratch. You're just waiting for somebody to bring out the doctrine that you can say, I knew that was the truth. I knew I could smoke weed, right? I was waiting on that. That's that precept. Brother, no, that's not that precept, man. You just lusting to accept anything, man. You got it, King.
Khan, that's right. Let me get this quick precept. All right, this is the book of 2 Corinthians, right, chapter 11 and verse number 3. It says, but I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so your mind should be corrupted through the simplicity that is in Yahushua. So it says, but I fear, because Paul knew that this church, they were young. They were babes in Yahushua. And you may be a baby in Yahushua. You may not have the in-depth secrets, the parables, the doctrine. You may not really know prophecy very well, and you may be young in this thing. You know what babies do? Babies are very curious. They're all over here. They're all over there. They're trying to touch this, and what does this do, and what happens if I poke that? They're very curious, and you're very curious when you come into this truth. You're trying to watch this camp. You're trying to watch that camp. You're trying to figure out what your spirit sups with. But you got to watch what you think your spirit is supping with, because your spirit could be supping with things coming out of the world that are adapting, right, to that very thing of the world. It's not of sound doctrine, right? You don't want to believe certain things in certain books. You have to take your time and grow. It says, as the serpent beguiled Eve, and Eve wasn't a fool, right? She was literally the wife of Adam. Adam was a strong man, right? He had the understanding of the Most High, the commandments, and taught him all the way down to the men under him. So Eve had to be on some type of level. So to deceive Eve, we always say, or people say rather, Eve, she got deceived. She was the woman. Yeah, she was the woman. Yeah, she did get deceived, but that was the wife of Adam. Think how much subtlety and trickery and wickedness and craftiness that serpent had to beguile her with, man. It says, so your mind should be corrupted through the simplicity that is in Yahushua. Simplicity is something that you have to equate to the scriptures. You don't want to make everything so in-depth and so deep, right? You're reading something that's plain, but you make it sevenfold, right? Because you want to have the new doctrine in Israel. Everything is in sevenfold, man. The Lord said he was surely the secrets of wisdom, that they are double to that which is, right? You don't want to see something and then make it different, right? Then this teacher makes it this, and then and then you have 15 different breakdowns for one precept. Right, so the Lord said it's the simplicity in Yahushua. Right, the Lord said his ways are plain unto the holy, but yet are they stumbling blocks into the wicked. So you want to take your time and grow as a babe. You don't want to start running, start watching all of the breakdowns. You have no understanding of the law and how to build yourself up or to fear the Most High. Right, you got it.
Yeah, I mean that's a point, man, because some things are simple, and brothers may make it real deep. And some things are deeper than what you think, and then you may make it simple. Right? This is I want to get this quick precept. This 1 Timothy 4:1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. So there are certain doctrines that come really from a demon. That's all they're saying. The doctrine of a devil, there's a demon teaching you, right? That's all it is. It's not the Spirit working with you to show you that, okay, well, it's okay, I can smoke weed, right? Oh, that's the Spirit, man. The Spirit is supping with me. You're going to Revelation chapter 3 and 20. I'm going to Song of Solomon 5. Man, the Spirit is showing me this precept. And some brothers really think the Spirit is showing them things, man. Well, what Spirit is showing you things? I mean, there are many spirits, man. Thousands of spirits that minister before Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushai, man. Now, what spirit is supping with you? Because if you're breaking something down completely wrong and you're going into some heinous doctrine, a heresy, you have been taught by a demon. That's what a seducer is, somebody that allures you, captivates you. And they often do it for how they look or how they present. Like a woman that may want to seduce you, hey, she's going to do her hair. She might put on a dress, put some oil on or some perfume, maybe do a little makeup, get her, hair, put some shoes on, some heels or whatever, walk past you, give you an eye. Hey, that's how doctrines are presented before men, right? Let me read that again. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times, these are the latter times, some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. Meaning, once your conscience is seared with a hot iron, there's nothing you can do about it, right? If you got an interview, you want to iron that shirt, you might have a nice black, blue, white button-up shirt, right? You iron that, right? Then you kind of press on it, you look at it, you forget you ironing your shirt, something going on, you take the iron out, you done seared your shirt. You got that small black hole in it, bro. Now, what can you do with that shirt? You can put it in the washer. It's not going to fix it. You can take it to the cleaners. They can't fix it. All you can do with that shirt is burn it or throw it out, man. There's nothing more you can do with it, right? Guess what? There are certain doctrines that once they go into your mind, there's nothing you can do. Certain people, their conscience is seared. They are fully persuaded that Esau can be saved. They are fully persuaded that certain chapters are talking about certain things, and there's nothing you can do. You can make it plain upon tables. Say, brother, hold on, that link up with this, and he's always going to argue with you, man. Right? You really can't tell him because the Most High put a demon on him, and that demon taught him, and he's going to obey his teacher. Whenever that doctrine comes out, that demon is going to remind him that this is the truth, right? Like Christians, man, right? Or Muslims or brothers, in Israel sometimes, man, who believe wild, lucid, strange, just far left doctrines, man. What you got it, King?
Khan is right. This is Iraq, chapter 13 and verse 15. It says, every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor. So every beast is going to love his like, right? You got the lions that are with the lions, right? You got the hyenas that's with the hyenas. You got the dogs that's with the dogs, right? When you see these different camps, how they move, when you see these different brothers, how they move, you see the different spirits that come with Yehuda, or you have these different spirits that come with Yahweh, and it's really cleaving to their like. You see the spirits that cleave to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, and I've never seen any spirit ever stronger than that. That's a prophet. I've never seen a laborer, an apostle, a disciple, a prophet. I've never seen any man do the things and the works under any other name than Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. These other men, they're scoffers on the internet, right? They wear ridiculous costumes and outfits. They parade themselves as having understanding. They're hypocrites. They're haters. They have no understanding in the scriptures, right? You got to understand every beast is going to cleave unto his life. What name is attracting you? Is it Yehuda? Is it Yahweh? Right? Is it Yahshua? Right? Is it Ahaya? What's being brought and what's pulling you and what are you attracted to? You got to ask yourself, okay, what spirit am I in? What doctrine am I in? What way of living through the precepts am I adapting myself with? Because every beast and every man is going to cleave to his light. The Lord said, can two walk together unless they be agreed? Right? Let me get this quick precept. This First Kings chapter 13 in verse, right? This whole thing is fire. I'm going to start at 16. I'm going to start at 15. It says, then he said unto him, come home with me and eat bread. So you had these two men, which were prophets. The Lord told this man not to eat any bread or go to home. Don't salute any man. Go straightway on your way. But he got seduced along the way. And that just goes to show you could be a man of God and get seduced. It's not always just the weak and the feeble and a brother that doesn't have fringes on, man. The brother that's standing in the rain. He got caught out there. Or that sister that just came to the knowledge of truth yesterday. And she got beguiled, right? And she got bewitched. No, it could be a man of God. Or you could be standing with the Most High for years and get seduced by another doctrine or another prophet. It says, verse 16, and he said, I may not return with thee, nor go in with thee, neither will I eat bread nor drink water with thee in this place. So he seemingly was keeping the commandment of the Most High. But once seduction plays, once, pushing and this type of spirit to where you get loose and lured away through speech, you understand? The Lord said in the book of Proverbs, the 7th chapter, she forced him with her lips, right? So you could be talked to over and over like Samson, talked to over and over and over, and the things that you once had a strong understanding, and they start to get weak, they start to get feeble. You start to cave in and start to listen and start to get overtaken, whether it be your wife bringing it to you, whether it be a congregation. I have nobody else to label with, so I'm going to label with these brothers. But these brothers are teaching God knows what. They're going off. It says, for it was said to me by the word of God, the Lord, thou shalt eat no bread nor drink water there, nor turn again to go by the way that thou camest. He said unto him, I am a prophet also as thou art. And an angel spake unto me by the word of the Lord. Some brothers profess themselves to be some top prophet and some top elder. And they seduce you and they peer pressure you into believing their doctrines. It says, saying, bring me back with thee into thine house, that he may eat bread and drink water. But he lied unto him. So you could be lied. Right? It could be somebody saying an angel told me this, or an elder told me that, or I had a dream that you should do this. But it was all a demon from the third heaven to try your spirit, to take you down, for you to be strong and magnify the name of the Lord.
Yeah, Khan. The Lord said, though an angel, even though an angel preach a gospel to you, paraphrase, right? In Galatians, the 1st chapter, man. Right? Let him be accursed. Right? Let me get that real quick just to add to that. Right, and then I got another quick precept to add. This Galatians chapter 1 and verse 8. I'm gonna start at 7. Which is not another, but there be some that trouble you and will pervert the gospel of Hamashiach. And there are men around that was around the time of Paul. I mean, Paul named men. It's like Alexander, the coppersmith, Hymenaeus, Philetus. I mean, there are men that are mentioned by name that was doing God knows what, man. Right? He called out, Yahushua called out entire churches, man. Right? And different doctrines that they had going on. Right? So there are certain people that may trouble you. Hey, brother, man, I'm kind of looking at this, man. The Day of Atonement, it's listed in Leviticus 23. But look at this word. Here, let me show you. All right, here, let me show you this. See, it say feast day. Right? It say feast days. These are the feasts of the Lord. Why are these brothers saying we have to fast? It say feast day. I mean, it's right before the Feast of Tabernacles, right after the Feast of Trumpets. What do you say? Right? What do you think? Right? Like a demon, man. What do you think? Wow, I mean, it do say feast day. I mean, it is listed among the Leviticus 23. I mean, then when you think about it, yeah. Let me show you that word in the Hebrew, right? And then you start eating a hoagie, man, on the 9th day at even of the 7th month, because you got seduced, man. You got caught out there. You got troubled. Now you done profaned your whole Day of Atonement, right? So it reads in Galatians chapter 1 and 9. I'm gonna start at 8. But though we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed. So if an angel popped up behind me right now, the lights start flickering on and off, and you heard thunder and lightning and boom, boom, and the screen start flashing, and there was an angel that stood on my right hand, and he had big wings, and he had a big book like this with the number 7 on it, and it was written in Hebrew, and it said Quadash in the Hebrew. And he opened, he said, Naquan, move to the side. And I got up and I kind of moved to the side, and he sat in the lap. He said, I have a doctrine for you. Right? And he had his deep voice, and he had this long beard, and he had a staff in his hand. And he said, today, right, the Monday Night Fire, I know it's death to all false doctrines, but the new doctrine is everybody understands that we can now eat pork. Right? Everybody, okay, we can eat pork. Right? Everybody knows that. Right? And then he disappeared like that. Hey, brothers would get caught up in that thing, man. Wow, did you see the live? Yeah, I screen recorded it. The angel came down, he had this deep voice, and he said we can eat pork. Right? Well, that's madness. You can't get caught up. Even if an angel came to you, man, don't believe it. If an angel came and told you eat pork, you got to question that angel. So what the hell are you talking about, man? Peter said, not so, Lord. I've never eaten anything common or unclean. Right? You can't just sit there and believe an angel, bro. How much more mortal man when man presents something to you? And man was made a little bit lower than the angels, pursuing the Psalms 8 in the book of Hebrews, man. The first chapter. Right? Another quick precept. This is 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse, I'm going to start at 17. And their word will eat as doth the canker, of whom is Hymenaeus and Philetus, who concerning the truth have erred, saying that the resurrection is past already, and overthrow the faith of some. So these men was teaching that the resurrection happened already. They was breaking down the prophecies all wrong, man. Yeah, the Lord came back already. And you got that in Israel now, man. You got, okay, the resurrection is going to happen at this time. Then this is going to happen. Then this is going to happen. Then 1,000 years here. Then we're going to have to wait. Then they're going to come back and take us over. And then that's spirit of Hymenaeus and a spirit of Philetus, man. Right? Those men taught Hymenaeus and Philetus that the resurrection was past already. And a lot of men got overthrown. Oh, wow, man. Okay. The Lord came. Maybe this is the kingdom. Maybe we don't have a great expectation. Maybe this is it. Right? And it says overthrow the faith of some. Right? So that word eats like a canker, man. And canker spreads like a disease. It might, when you look that word up in the Greek, right, is I believe it's gangrene or something to that effect. And it speaks about eating away the skin and eating away the bones, man. It's like a flesh-eating bacteria. That's how doctrines are. They spread from this brother, to that guy, to this man, to that woman, to that household, to that household. Next thing you know, everybody's been mixed up in a wine of madness and sin. That's why we have to go into this. We have to go into this for the body, for the sake of Israel, man. Right? Because there's a lot of doctrines, and a lot of times, brothers hear stuff, and you don't want to. I'll put it like this: you don't want to address everything you hear, but certain things and certain doctrines. I mean, like I said, we're just meditating and putting a list together, man. And some of this stuff is just madness. This stuff that we see with our own bodily eyes, hear with our own fleshly ears. Things that we know that brothers say, hey, look, I saw this, I saw that. We go check it out. So what the hell is that about, man? So we kind of see what's going on, and we got to address some of these things. Some things are a little light, some things are heavy, and we want to keep it doctrine related strictly to the doctrine. Right now, if you get mad, you get upset, you want to be all offended, and because we're talking about the doctrine, then that's on you, man. Right? What you got it, King?
Calm, that's right. Right, and one thing about a doctrine is when you believe one doctrine, you got to believe another one. Right, just like when you believe one precept and understand that precept, it's going to link up to another precept. So once you're indoctrinated with one doctrine, it's going to spread to another understanding here, another understanding there. And once you're a little bit off track of the path of the Lord, you understanding, the next couple of months you're going to be bugged out. You're going to believe God knows what. It's going to allude to other books. You got to beware of brothers that sneak up on you and say, well, that name is only one time in the Bible. You know where else it links up at? Right? Then he bring out another book somewhere, huh? Right? In the time of Hosea, that was going on. Right? This is the book of Hosea, chapter 9, and verse number 7. It said, the days of visitation are come. The days of recompense are come. Israel shall know it, and a prophet is a fool. The spiritual man is mad for the multitude of thine iniquity and great hatred. So the Lord said the prophets that were prophesied and they're fools. It wasn't prophesied and thus saith the Lord. They were prophesying their own understanding and their own will. Right? Just like in the time of Jeremiah. When you read Jeremiah 28, Hananiah, he was prophesying his own will, saying that the Lord was going to break the yoke of Nebuchadnezzar. Neither was the Lord going to do that. And he was overthrowing the faith, right, of those men, that they didn't have to be in captivity, and they was looking for some false hope to come that wasn't of the Most High. It says, the watchman of Ephraim with my God, but a prophet is a snare of a fowler in all his ways. The Lord said, but the prophet is a snare and a fowler in all his ways. Meaning all the ways these prophets sent out around the time of Hosea that were overthrowing these men understanding were just a snare and a trap. When you have a man on this corner, he's going to lie to you. A man with fringes on, a man with a beard, a man holding the scriptures, a man that knows this man and this elder. But nevertheless, they all were snares and traps and fowlers in the streets and in the corners, laying await to devour you. It says, the watchman of Ephraim was with my God, but the prophet is a snare of a fowler in his ways, and hated in the house of his God. They have deeply corrupted themselves. So the Lord called the prophets deeply corrupted. And it said that they were going off a little bit. They broke down his precept just a little bit wrong. Because nobody has 100% of the truth and understanding. Nobody's Jehovah Shah. But the Lord is going to have to come and break down, you understand, the precepts, the doctrine, right, and the prophecy in totality to all Israel. But we know in part. Keyword, we know in part. Meaning there's certain people on this earth that know exactly what they're talking about. And it is the truth according to the scriptures. It says, they have deeply corrupted themselves as in the days of Gibeah. Therefore will he remember their iniquity, and he will visit their sins. So the same way of committing adultery, murder, right, thievery, right, sedition, drunkenness, hatred, all of these are sins and wicked sins to be punished. The Lord said he's going to punish men that are corruptible and they're prophesied. And the Lord's going to visit their iniquities. So all you men hasten to be teachers, hasten to put yourselves in a position to shake the hand by what you see, you got to understand what condemnation and damnation comes with this. This isn't something you look at and then mimic, right? You take down all of the notes of the brother that did the breakdown. Don't know for yourself how to break it down, but mimic it, right? And spread that demon that was on that brother to the whole nation.
Con. And I mean, like I said, we got a few that we want to go into. We do, if there are any questions concerning doctrine, maybe a brother read something, maybe he's trying to connect the dots, maybe he heard something, we will allow this time for questions to be posed as well. But this is going to be a series. We're not going to rest tonight on these doctrines. We got a notepad, and we may just shoot off the hip through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai. I mean, there's a lot, man. There's a lot that we can go into, but one of the doctrines, some that we could just knock out. Some of these we could just go through, piecemeal and kind of eat them up through the spirit. Some of them, we want to take more time and use the whole lesson to go further into it, because we'll dive deep into prophecy and things of that nature. So let's go into Jacob's trouble, or it's really twofold, right? On one level, Jacob's trouble is not going to happen. At another level, Jacob's trouble happened already. At another one, we're in Jacob's trouble. So we're going to cover kind of the time frame of Jacob's trouble, because there's a doctrine saying that it happened already. Then there's a doctrine saying you're living in it right now. and there's a doctrine saying that there is no Jacob's trouble. So we're going to try to kill 3 birds with 1 stone. First of all, there is a Jacob's trouble, right? Second of all, Jacob's trouble didn't happen already, right? And third of all, you're not living in Jacob's trouble. If you were living in Jacob's trouble, you would know. There would be no live going on. There would be no Q&A. There would be no Sabbath service. There would be no camp, right? There wouldn't be no comment board, right? So we have to kind of, we'll touch on that one first through the spirit of power. I got a quick precept, real quick. This is Second Ezra, one of my favorite precepts, right? Second Ezra chapter 9 and 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So part of understanding the scriptures, and chiefly prophecy, like I like to say, is the chronology of prophecy. It's one thing to understand what the prophecy means and what it's about. The next level is understanding when is that prophecy going to take place compared to other prophecies, right? Because you may know know about Jacob's trouble, persecution, right? Esau coming at us, but you may not know how that prophecy relates to getting beamed up in a chariot. Well, which one comes first, or the second wilderness, or being delivered up? And that's where a lot of the problems lie, where measuring the time becomes an issue to Akim, because they can't really gauge on when certain prophecies are going to happen. They know about them, but they can't pinpoint. And I'm not saying by the second, by the season. And based off of all the other prophecies, you should be able to have a timeline and say, okay, this prophecy is going to happen first, this is going to happen second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, etc. And if you start mixing and matching, then you're going to throw everything off. Everything's going to be thrown off if you can't understand the chronology of prophecy. You're going to start saying, well, Yahweh Shah is going to return a third time. And then before that, this is going to happen. Then Daniel 9 is talking about this, and you start mix matching, man. It don't work like that. So you got to understand the seals, right? You got to understand the trumpets, when certain things are going to happen, and that comes with the precepts and that comes with time. So I just wanted to bring that out to set the precedent that Jacob's trouble is a set time, and you have to watch and be circumspect about what's going on in the earth and tie it directly in with the Bible, right? You got it, King.
When you read 2nd Ezra 16, for brothers that don't know, that's a clear indication on how to weigh the times of what times we're living in and what times are going to afford to come. Because when you read 2nd Ezra 16, it would be impossible to confuse to think that we're actually living in these days in totality. Now, do some of these things happen that we read about or has happened? Yes, but when you read this, the Lord said, and he kicks off the chapter, we'll get 2 quick precepts in 2nd Ezra. It's 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 5. So this is one of the major things you have to keep in mind when you read 2nd Ezra 16. In verse 5, plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? Meaning, once these things in 2nd Ezra happen, you're not going to wonder if we're living in a time anymore. If you're wondering, then the plagues have not been kicked off to return and void. Because once these plagues that you read about in 2nd Ezra kick off, they're not going to stop. They're going to keep rolling, and they're going to keep rolling, and they're going to keep rolling. You're not going to have to question, all right, are we in these times? All right, I see Russia, I see China, I see a famine in Africa. Well, maybe we are living in these times. Maybe it hasn't made its way right to Babylon. The Lord said, plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? Right, I want to jump to verse 20. But for all these things, they will not turn from their wickedness, nor always be mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. So that's one of the clear indications that you will be living in Jacob's trouble, the scarceness of food. Because a lot of people may think, right now, victuals are cheap. You go to the grocery store, whatever the case may be. But during the time of Jacob's trouble, there's going to be a scarce famine. You think right now, so-called Black Friday, they're kicking over to find a TV, they're kicking over to buy that sofa, they're kicking over to buy that stereo system or those car parts, and they're kicking down the store to buy those things that they need, right, for their households. People get stampede to death in a Black Friday. People actually fight in the parking lot. People lose their mind when they're in line too long waiting for their milkshake, right? They all hell breaks loose, right, when they haven't eaten for 7 hours and they're grumpy and they're grouchy. Think when it's a famine going on. Think how many houses are going to get rifled, how many stores are going to be broken into, how many farmers and crop sharers that are going to get robbed. Think how many people that are going to know the things that you have in your basement or your way of life or your understanding to take it from you. Gasoline tanks, cars, right? There's going to be it's going to be all hell breaking loose in the streets and the cities, and they're not going to regard, right, any of the nobles and any of the princes. What you got?
Yeah, and Yahweh Shah made it plain, man. There are certain things that you need to look for on the earth, right? Jacob's trouble is a time of persecution for those who don't know, right? It's a time of massive persecution towards those that keep the commandments of the Most High, the Israelites, right? What the world calls the Black Hebrew Israelites, what they call us Hebrew Israelites, domestic terrorists, the hate group, all of these different bywords that are thrown on us. Jacob's trouble is a time of massive persecution like none other on the earth, right? When you go to Revelation, right? Let's go to Revelation 12 and 17. Let me get two quick precepts, right? This Revelation chapter 12 and 17. It reads, and the dragon is the so-called white man, right? The ancient Roman Empire, but it's back on the earth as America, right? And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. So Jacob's trouble is a war. You're not at war right now, man, with the so-called white man. Hey, these police officers, they'll stop and I'll give you a warning, right? Right? Hey, Esau's at your job. Hey, how was your weekend? Right? You don't have tanks and war helicopters looking for you, right? There's no air raid sirens. There's no bounty and hit out on the children of Israel, on the prophets and apostles. You can freely go to the bank, grocery store, right? You can walk down the street, you can go to the mall. Jacob's trouble is a time of war. For anybody that think that you're in Jacob's trouble right now, then your mind is bad. You have a bad mind. And if you think it happened already, that wasn't war, man. On a level that is about to be. Right? This is let me get another one. This is Matthew 24 and 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. So before Jacob's trouble, this gospel is going to be preached throughout the four corners of the earth. And you have Israelites waking all over, from the UK to parts of Asia, Australia, the land of Ham, other parts of Europe, South America, North America, all over, right? The Lord said, then shall the end come. Verse 15, when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. So this is speaking about one of the main signs of persecution. Now you have the first abomination of desolation that happened during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes IV. You can read about that in the book of Maccabees, right? Then you had another abomination of desolation that Yahweh Shah speaking of when you would see the Romans come, the centurion, their siege engines, siege weapons, when you see them surround Jerusalem, Yahweh Shah said, thine enemy shall lay a trench about thee. Flee to the mountains, right? So they actually had to flee around 70 AD. But another sign of Jacob's trouble is that Matthew 24 and 15 is going to happen all over again. This same Roman army is going to make war against you. We read it in Revelation 12 and 17. Like you say, well, hold on. Well, I thought the Romans, they're gone. That was so long ago. No, the modern day Roman is the so-called white man's Marine Corps, Army, National Guard, Air Force. They're going to do the same thing they did in 70 AD, right? How else do you think the dragon's going to make war against us? Do you think he's going to do that with his city police department? Right? How else are they going to make war with their Roman army all over again? And you're going to see them coming against us, man. You're going to see martial law, tanks in the streets. You're going to see you're going to hear the air raid sirens. There's going to be a massive persecution on the Israelites, man. They're going to be going door to door. That's 2nd Ezra 16. When you see that happening, then you have to have the mind of 70 AD. You got to flee to Sukkot. That's a major sign of Jacob's trouble. The Lord told you. He said, whoso readeth, let him understand. Because a lot of brothers will read that and say, well, that happened already. And you're going to be caught out there. Yeah, it happened already, but it's going to happen again. That which has been is now, that which is to be hath already been, and the Most High requireth that which is past. That's Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and 15. Right? Oh, you had that? You on mute.
I thought I was talking. I said, Khan, that was a spirit. I was already there.
Oh, Khan.
Right.
So, real quick, I mean, that it's inevitable. It's going to happen again, and you're going to see it. And if you don't take heed to what Yahweh Shah said, you're going to be caught out there. If you take up arms and try to fight against Esau, you're going to be slain with the sword, because all they that take up the sword shall perish with the sword. If you say that you see all these tanks and martial law going on, and they going door to door, and you sit there like you don't know what the hell is going on, you're going to be caught out there. So you got to take heed to what Yahweh Shah said, right? Right? Let me read on a little bit. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. So they have to literally flee into the mountains. Now the mountains in this time is places of refuge and succor, wherever the hell you can find it, huh? Right? It reads, let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight. So we're going to get put to flight. Huh? We're not going to be able to go toe to toe. Right? We're sheep. Right? The Lord said, you're going to get put to flight. Just pray that it's not in the winter time or the Sabbath day. Verse 21. This is how you know it's Jacob's trouble. It's about this time. Because this happened back then, but it's really on a deeper level talking about now. Because verse 21 puts a nail in the coffin. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. The Lord said there's going to be so much killing, he got to shorten the days for the elect's sake. And in this time, the Most High just told you that time of trouble, it says, for there shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time. So this can't be talking about 70 AD. Unless you're saying 70 AD is going to be worse than what we're going to go through. So this is a third abomination of desolation for the modern day Romans coming against us. And it's going to be worse than 70 AD. You can't have two same times like no other. It's madness. There's only going to be one time. And that time is when you see these tanks coming through, you see us public enemy number one, FBI watch list, Esau going door to door, kicking doors down, spoiling the goods, robbing us, throwing us in these FEMA camps and concentration camps. You see that happening going on, maybe after a false flag or something like that, you know it's go time. Huh? Then it's going to be Jacob's trouble. You got it, King.
Khan is right. And another thing, when you go into the Roman Empire, they had the Great Fire of Rome, right? I had it pulled up. Right, I ain't gonna read too much on it, but I just want to read this real fast. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna try to send it to you, King.
Come.
And I'm gonna see if you can pull it up real fast through the spirit. I'm gonna send it on Twitter.
All right.
So I can go with it.
Yeah, while the brother sending that, Jacob's trouble was not the transatlantic slave trade, man. Right? That wasn't Jacob's trouble. We're not saying that there wasn't a traumatic, violent, wicked time that we experienced, but you have different levels of persecution that we go through. You had the time of Diocletian and the persecution against the Christians, the time of Nero, the Neronian persecution. You at the time of the Flavian dynasty. You at the time of Haman and Ahasuerus in the time of Esther. There's always major time periods in captivity that we go through persecution. But Matthew 24 and 15, the Lord said, when you see them stand in the holy place is what? The temple. What is the temple? Where the temple? So when he's destroying Israel, right, where the altar, where the temple that's measured in Revelation 11, he's going to come into Israel, into us as a people, because we're the city, and try to destroy the city. And really, he wants to attack the spirit of the Most High, right? But you got it, King. You sent it?
Yeah, I sent it. Yeah, that's right. Right, and there's nothing new under the sun. Right, I want to pull up this article through the spirit and scroll down and show you that, like the brother was going into. During the Roman Empire, right, you had Nero. You had the Great Fire of Rome. Now, he blamed that on what they call the Christians. And we know that that's talking about the Israelites, which started that mass persecution of him slaughtering and killing, right, all of the Israelites on his vast, wickedness, overthrowing things and slaughtering us cold in our blood, right? Whenever you pull it up.
It should be up, or it might be loading.
Okay, Khan. Okay, Khan, all praise. You can scroll down to it, say Emperor Nero, early Christian martyrdom. Yup.
You want this?
Yup. You can scroll down a little bit more. Yeah, I wanted that right there through the spirit. Right, it says Emperor Nero is known for being one of the earliest, most notorious persecutors of Christians in ancient Rome. He often depicted, right, as the archetype of early Christian martyrdom due to a brutal ways in which he sought to eliminate and fledgling religion. So he's going to want to stop. Like it's nothing new under the sun. The same way ancient Emperor Nero wanted to stop what they call religion, and we know what that means. It's the truth. They didn't want the truth going out. Right? The same way that's going to happen now. It says religion, Nero's reign began in 54 CE to 64 CE. A great fire broke out in Rome. Right? It's the fire of Rome, destroying much of the city. Rumors spread that Nero himself had ordered the fire to be set to clear the land for a new place. To deflect blame, Nero accused the Christians of starting a fire. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Right? Even now, they're going to have these puppets, right? These false agents, right? They're going to depict us in certain matters that we're not. Right? Even with the brothers in WFI Chicago, they're painting the narrative like we started a fight. Or like we're hoodlums. Right? They're trying to paint us as Hebrew, Israelite, black extremists, and all of these different things. They're just waiting for a reason to condemn us and charge us. Right? While you sitting up there being slothful, the so-called white man is writing up new laws. He's writing up laws to condemn you in the last days by the things that you're teaching. It says, this marked the beginning of a wave of brutal persecutions against Christians as Nero sought to scapegoat them for the disaster. So the same way he tried to blame, right, us for something that was going on, what do you think is going to happen now? You think we're just going to be walking down the street and we could wear our fringes and our beard forever without it being a crime, without being jumped, without being slain, kidnapped, hated, right, beat up, whatever the case may be, thrown in shackles? The same way they did of old is the same way they're going to do again. And that's happened all throughout the scriptures. Now, let me get this quick precept. It's the book of Matthew, right, chapter 10 and verse number 17. It says, but beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils. And the councils are where they're charging you. And they're charging you for all of the crimes, just like they took Yahweh and they tried to charge him. They brought him up to councils. They tried to make it to where he was seemingly as if he committed a sin when he had no sin upon him. And that's what they're going to do to us. The elect is not going to be charged in the eyes of God, but they're going to be charged in the eyes of men. It says, and they will scourge you in their synagogues, and ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my name's sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. The Lord said you should be brought before governors and kings. I want to link this up real fast with this quick precept in Acts. Right, all throughout the scriptures, we've been brought before governors and kings, and that's going to continue to happen all throughout. Right, let's go to Acts chapter 18, verse 12. Right, what was going on in the church, right, of Corinth? This is the book of Acts chapter 18, verse 12. And when Gallo was the deputy of Antioch, the Jews made insurrection with one accord against Paul and brought him to the judgment seat. That's brother betraying brother right there. But it's going to happen on a big, deeper level in the last days. Camps turning against camps, evil brethren falling out the truth, evil men and seducers waxing worse and worse, men not understanding the times, men being feeble and frightened and scared, right, and giving their mind over to fright them, right, whatever the case may be. It says Paul and brought him to the judgment seat, saying this fellow persuaded men to worship God contrary to the law. And whatever they bring up to charge you with or deliver you with is what they're going to be held to their counsels. It says, and when Paul was now about to open his mouth, Gallo said to the Jews, if it were a matter of wrong or wicked lewdness, O ye Jews, reason with that I should bear with you. But if it be a question of words and names of your law, look ye to it, for I will be no judge in such matters. And he drove them from the judgment seat. Then all the Greeks took Southenus, the chief ruler of the synagogue, and beat him before the judgment seat, and Gallo cared for none of those things. Right, so they beat an Israelite right before the judgment seat, man. And that happened in the book of Acts. Now, how much more when Yahushua prophesied these things that's really going to take place on a large level in the last days? Men are going to be beat before the judgment seat. Brother's going to betray brother. It's happening right now in the scriptures. How much more in the last days on that deeper level? You got it.
Come. So, I mean, if you still think that you're living in Jacob's trouble or it happened already or it's not going to happen, then, I mean, hopefully the edification is going out. This is Revelation chapter 6 and 9. And we had opened the fifth seal. I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of the Most High and for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? So where's all these slain Israelites at? Because martyrdom is going to come during the time of Jacob's trouble. That fifth seal is going to work hand in hand with Jacob's trouble, right? So when you start seeing brothers are going to get put to death for this truth. This is not a game, right? Certain men have been elected to be martyrs. The word martyr means a witness. So they're going to give their life as a witness to Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua, right? And the Lord saw under the altar, because when you read the law, you take the blood and you pour it underneath the altar or on the ground under the altar, paraphrasing it, right? So it's as if it's an offering to Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua. So their blood was poured out, but the Lord is likening to souls under the altar pursuant to the law, right, that you read about. Now, where are all of the Israelites being slain for the word of God? You might have a brother arrested here. You might have a brother kind of arrested there. You know, you might have the police came up and said, look, y'all need to move. Y'all been here. We asked you to move. You know, can you go over here? Or, hey, look, you know, you need to shut down. Or, hey, they might come around and surround the camp and say, you know, what's going on? It could be, hey, look, but you don't have shoot to kill right now. There's no shoot to kill decree given out by these rulers that be and the magistrates of Babylon the Great. They're still policing. They're still asking questions. They still got that big notepad out writing names, man. But the days draw nigh when it's not going to be, well, who are you? Let me see some ID. Right? Once the Lord said they're going to be like madmen. He's going to put a spirit on them. Well, they're going to go back to that ancient Edomite estate, that ancient Roman estate, man. And all that, well, I got black friends, or, you know, I don't care about that, or I'm not diplomatic, I'm tolerant of all religions. All that's going to go out the window. And men are going to be slain for the word of God. So how could this be Jacob's trouble? How could that happen through the time of slavery when we weren't even keeping the commandments? Right? We weren't even We didn't have a beard on our face, man. Your beard was shaved off. You wasn't teaching the word of the Most High. How could you be a martyr for the truth when you wasn't in the truth? Right? It reads, verse 11, and white robes were given unto every one of them. And it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season, until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. So the Lord told them, I'm going to avenge you, but more men like you have to come up here. Right? There are more men that have to die. Right? There's a set number of men that have to die for this truth. Right? Whatever that number is, once that number's capped out, then the Lord is going to return. So during the time of Jacob's trouble, you're going to have men die. They have to die. They have to be martyrs. Right? And as these martyrs go and go and go and go and go, that level or that threshold is going to rise and rise and rise. And once it caps out and the last brother died for this truth, Yahweh Shah is going to return. The same time that persecution is going on, World War III is going to be happening out there in the Valley of Jehoshaphat. Right? And when you read 2nd Ezra chapter 15, 38 on down, and Daniel 11, 36 on down to certain precepts, World War III is going to be happening. But then once that last brother's put to death, Yahweh Shah is going to return. Right? So we're not in that time right now because, again, right when it's a famine, but another thing of Jacob's trouble is war is going to be happening. Now you can say, well, what about Russia, Ukraine? What about Gaza? What about Israel? That's not World War III. If you think Gaza and Israel right now and Palestine is World War III, then you're sadly mistaken. Right? This is just the beginning. Russia, Ukraine, this thing is going to play down in the Middle East. World War III ain't going to happen in the Baltic Sea, man. In the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea up there by Russia, man. World War III is going to be in the Valley of Jehoshaphat in the so-called Middle East. That's where Armageddon is going to be. So as you see the amount of troops come down there, then you can kind of perceive as more troops go down there, you should say Jacob's trouble is slowly approaching because they're going to happen and around that exact same time. Are they going to happen the same second? We don't know, but they're going to happen in that same season. There are prophecies that happen in seasons, right? The Lord speaks of the summertime or the wintertime in Song of Solomon. So seasonal prophecies coincide with one another. So that's something also to help you perceive that this is not Jacob's trouble because World War III is going to be happening, famine is going to be happening, and there's going to be an amalgamation of prophecies that you could look for, right? But you got it, King.
Khan, that's right. When you go to Revelation chapter 11, right, in verse number 3, right, this Revelation chapter 11, verse 3, it says, and I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. Right, you got the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Right now, we're standing upon our feet. Right now, the breath of life is entering into Jake right now on the highways and byways. It's time for fishing, right? It's time for the great awakening. Brothers are coming into the knowledge of truth. Brothers still have to be sealed, right? So the Lord said, and I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. And then it's a set number and a time where the Lord is going to have the servants out there prophesying, right? It says, these are the 2 olive trees, right? And the 2 candlesticks standing before the God of the earth, right? It says, and if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth, right? And this is getting deep, but we're not going to necessarily go into the in-depth breakdown, right? That Joshua, Jerubbaal, right? It says, and if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devour their enemies. If any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. These have power to shut heaven, and it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them into blood, like Elijah and Moses. It said, and to smite the earth with all plagues as oft as they would. This is the point. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. The Lord said when they finish their testimony, and then it's a set time to be out there teaching. If we're in Jacob's trouble right now, you wouldn't be out there teaching. You wouldn't be able to come, hey, Ak, did you bring the signs? Yeah, right around the corner. All right, you can meet me to help me with the signs. All praise to the Most High. Right? That's not going to be going on in Jacob's trouble. Right? The Lord said, when they shall finish their testimony, the beast shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and shall make war against them. Meaning in those days, you're either going to have the truth or you're not going to have the truth. Right? You could kind of link that up with all hell breaking loose when you go to Matthew, the 25th chapter, about the parable of the 10 virgins. Men are going to be running to and fro, trying to find the word. It's going to be a famine of the word. All hell's going to be breaking loose. And when you read that parable, right when all of that's going on, you read to the end, Yahushua comes back because they were asleep. They didn't take the time to get it when 1,200, right, 60 days was going on. They didn't take the time to study and to pray. They didn't take the time to take this truth serious. They were a hypocrite the whole time, but they were slothful the whole time. But they didn't take the precepts serious and to the highest level that they ought to be taken in the days that we're actually living in. So the Lord says, the beast shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. Right? And that's literally the days that we're entering into, that we're going to go into through the Spirit. You got it.
Come. So, you know, I mean, that's plain, man. Jacob's trouble is something that you want to be circumspect of, man. And that's why we have to go to other prophecies just to bridge the gap, just to connect the dots. So you don't just be thinking, okay, well, this happened in 1619. Okay, well, it's not going to happen at all. Or this is going to happen here, or this is going to happen here. Right? So you know, and also if it was Jacob's trouble, man, I mean, you just, like we brought it out, there'll be prison camps set up, man. You wouldn't be able to do lives. It'd be a famine of the word. You know, all hell would be breaking loose. So hopefully through the Spirit, you know, brothers understand that one, man. And that Jacob's trouble, that should be that. If you still think it's Jacob's trouble after those precepts, then hopefully, you know, we'll pray for you and let the Spirit work with you, because I think that's plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. You have something else on that one, King?
Con, I got one more precept.
Con.
The book of Job, chapter 5, right? In verse number, I'm going to start at 19. He shall be delivered in 6 troubles, yet in 7 there shall no evil touch him. In famine he shall be redeemed, right, thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. So you're going to have famine, death, war, sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, right? All of the trials, things that they bring you up to, false accusations. Neither shall thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh, because it's going to be all in the streets, the cities. Right? The Lord is saying that he's going to keep you safe. At destruction and famine, thou shalt laugh. Neither should thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. And that's another thing. The beasts of the earth are going to change their habitation. Right? It's not just going to be, right, the beasts in their places the way they are anymore, man. Right? When you go to the book, and I want to get this precept too. Right, I'm gonna have to find it through the Spirit. Most High willing, it come to me. But I got it. All praise to the Most High. Deuteronomy 7:22. When these beasts change their habitations, right, all hell's going to be breaking loose in the streets. Right, you're going to have different creatures coming out. Right, that was in the scriptures. The Lord said he didn't destroy all of the heathen at one time, lest the beasts increase upon thee. Right. Meaning the Lord knows once it's slain, it's going to be eagles. There's going to be cans, vultures, animals, foxes, lions, coyotes, wolves. These creatures are going to come out of their habitations. What do you think is going to happen when all of these slain people are dead in the street and that stench of blood is reaching up? Those animals are going to creep out of the forests. They're going to creep out of the hills and the valleys and the places that they are so that they can feed on the flesh. This is Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 22. It says, and the Lord thy God will put out those nations before thee by little and little, that thou mayest not consume them at once, lest the beasts of the field increase upon thee. So the Lord said, look, it had to be in number the way we killed off these Africans, right? These Hamites. We had to be in season and in time, because if we killed them off too fast, if we destroyed them all in one day or 1 week, right, it would be too many, a multitude of beasts creeping, you understand, in the places where we had war. And then I would contradict, you understand? Now we have to fight off beasts. The Lord said you had to do it little by little. In the days to come, right, what's going to happen? There's going to be great multitudes of men getting slain, killed, raped, captured, destroyed, right, tortured. These things are going to be happening. And those beasts, right, it's not going to be a cleanup crew. It's not going to be the morgue man and the coffin guy and the ambulance and the trucks. And nobody's going to care. Right? It's already going like that in Israel and Gaza and certain places like that. You got your loved ones grabbing up dead bodies, or you just have the rocks and the buildings covering them for destruction. So even in the law, the Lord had to do things in season and in wait, lest those beasts come out and creep forth and devour man. What you got?
Con. That's right, man. So I mean, there's a lot to look forward to, man. Look for, right? To look for during the time of Jacob's trouble. And again, if there's any questions about doctrine, right, we'll see if we can kind of tackle those on time to come through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shah. If there's no questions concerning doctrine, we'll dive into the next one, right? We'll dive into the next one through the spirit. So no, this is not Jacob's trouble. Jacob's trouble did not happen already. And yes, there will be a Jacob's trouble, not Esau's trouble, Ishmael, Moab, there's no Moab's trouble, right? There's no account of that, man. What are Moabites, right? Nobody cares about the Moabites, man. Their trouble is when Yahweh Shemel Shah returns, right? That's their trouble, right? And they can't escape. Now, there's another thing, right? Like I said, we just shooting off the hip, man. There's a lot of prophecies. We're shooting off the hip. I'll just put this up. There's like I said, we got a few of them. We got some on the Sabbath, things that go on the Sabbath. It's hell in the actual place. Can you deal with prostitutes? I feel like we dealt with that when you could divorce your wife spiritually. Paul is not the Lord. We got a few of them. We got a few of them. Now, hold on. Here's a question. Let's deal with this. Right? Divine in Nature LLC. I have a question when it pertains to false doctrine. Someone said Job was from Edom because it says the land of Uz is located in either Aram, Edom, or both. What's the breakdown? Okay, well, Job wasn't an Edomite, right? Because Job was a perfect and upright man. It says one that feared God and eschewed evil. Right? Let me get a quick. So Job is not there's just one great Edomite. Right? I mean, out of every Edomite that ever walked the earth, there was one among 1,000, and his name was Job. And Job feared God, right? Well, there's not just one. This would be a hell of an Edomite, man. You read the book of Job, this would be some outstanding. I'm using the word fantastic. It'd be a fantastic Edomite, man. Right? Let me get a quick precept. This Job chapter 1:1. It reads, there was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil. Now I'm gonna get a quick precept. Psalms 36:1, right? It says Job feared God and eschewed evil. Job, it's like it's Psalms chapter 36:1. This is what David said, right? The transgression of the wicked saith within my heart that there is no fear of God before his eyes. So David said when he sees the sins of the wicked, he said there's no way this man can fear God. When I see the sodomy, the pedophiles, the chomos, the wickedness, when I see that, I'm thinking there's no way that Esau fears God. That's what Psalms 36:1 is saying. So how could, in one level, David, whose heart was perfect with the Most High, look at Esau and say there's no way he could fear God, but yet in Job, it says this Edomite, he was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil. Right? We're gonna bring that precept up. I know you got something, King.
Come. And when you read the book of Job in the spirit, it's a very, very in-depth, deep book. And the way Job is conducting himself and the spirit and wisdom that he has is of the Most High. Right? The way he's recognizing Satan, right? The way he's staying in the spirit. The way he's doing and the counsel he's giving and the things he's doing, no Edomite could ever do such things. The Lord said in Job chapter 2, in verse number 3, it says, and the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, Meaning out of all the earth, there was not a man that was as perfect and upright as Job. The Lord said, "Has thou tried the east country? Has thou tried the city of Oz?" He didn't say that. The Lord said that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man. And for the Most High to say in Job chapter 4, he have no trust in his servants, and then in the same breath called Job an upright and perfect man, says a lot about Job, man. I mean, if the Most High were to speak about you, what would he say? He's a slothful servant. He's a hypocrite. He's double-minded. He has no fear of the Most High, right? He's not diligent. He doesn't give alms. Whatever the case may be, I'm sure it will be some type of blot on all of us. Hey, but guess what? Job, he was upright and perfect before the Lord's eyes. That's why out of all of these men upon the earth, he asked Satan, "Hast thou tried my servant Job?" It says, "One that fear of God and eschewed of evil, and still he holdeth fast his integrity, although thou movest me against him to destroy him without cause." Right? So, I mean, when you read that the Most High, he's bigging up Job in the spirit, how of a righteous man he is in his eyes. So no Edomite is righteous. When you read the book of Job, let me get one more, right? Chapter 21 and verse 7. Says, "Where do the wicked live, become old, yet are mighty in power? Their seed is established in their sight, with them and their offspring before their eyes." So when Job is speaking, this is Job speaking. He's talking about the wicked. So he wouldn't be contradicting and talking about himself nor his race. It says their houses are safe from fear, neither is the rod of God upon them. Their bull gendereth and felleth not, their cow claveth and casteth not her calves. They sing forth her little ones like a flock, and their children dance. They take the timbrel in the heart and rejoice at the sound of the organ. It says they spend their days in wealth, and in a moment they go down to the grave. That's the point. Therefore they say unto Yahweh, "Depart from us. We desire not the knowledge of thy ways." And when the Lord pulled up on Job, Job desired the ways of the Lord. He wanted to understand. When you read the book of Job, last one, to explain that, this is the book of Job, chapter 42, in verse number 2. It says, "I know that thou canst do everything, and that thou is no thought that can be withholden from thee. Who is he that hideth counsel without knowledge? Therefore I uttered that I understood not, things too wonderful for me, which I knew not. Hear, I beseech thee, and I will speak. I will demand of thee, declare thou unto me. I have heard of thee by the hearing of the ear, but now mine eyes see of thee. Wherefore I abhorred myself and repent in dust and ashes." No Edomite is going to repent in dust and ashes, man, and abhor himself from all the atrocities and things that he's done. Nor is he going to be upright and perfect in the earth, nor give righteous counsel, nor take care of his family, nor do the things of offering sacrifices. When you read this book, this man is the elect. But even the elect fall, and the elect get temptation, and the elect, you understand, suffer with the wrath and different things that come about, but they make it through the fire and get blessed manyfold and 7 times over. So when you go through that, right, this is a book deep in the spirit of endurance, right? So many lessons and deep things that you can learn in the book of Job. What you got, Ken?
And a lot of times, this comes from Lamentations chapter 4. Right? We read Lamentations chapter 4 and 21. You read about Esau in the land of Uz. And a lot of people think, well, Job was from the land of Uz. He must have lived there. Well, just because you live in a land doesn't mean you take on those people's bloodline or their heritage. Right? It's like saying that, brothers that lived in Corinth were Edomites, right? Or the Israelites that lived in Elam, that they picked up the bloodline and they became the Elamites. Just because you live in a land doesn't mean that you're those people. We would be Americans then. By blood, we would be Edomites because we live there. Just because you dwell in a land, it doesn't determine your nationality. Right? So this is Lamentations 4 and 21. This is where that comes from. "Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz." Why does it say Edom dwell in the land of Uz? Right? Because when you look up geographically where Uz is or Uz is, it's near Arabia, south of Judah. But it's not speaking about Job. You can't, that's what we're talking about. You You can't look at one verse and then in your mind, I remember reading, I'm in Lamentation now. I read that in Job. Job must be, that's madness, right? That's mad. You just can't take one verse and look at a word, then link it up with another one. You got to kind of dive into this thing, right? It reads, that dwellest in the land of us, the cup shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shall make thyself naked. Yeah, so, living in a place, again, for the third time, does not determine your heritage or your nationality. Job was one of the sons of God. Now, Job is a deep book, right? Job is a heavy book, man. Right? And what type of when you read the book of Job, we can look at Job's spirit, man. Job said, I know that my Redeemer liveth, and he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. And Job 19:25 on down. Kind of Edomite says, I know that my Redeemer liveth, but yet in the same book of Job, chapter 21, 7 on down, it says, what profit? They say, what profit do we have if we pray unto him? It's madness, right? Job, put some respect on Job's name, right? Put some respect on Job's name. Job is mentioned in other books, man. Though Noah, Daniel, and Job stood before me, yet my heart cannot be toward this people. Why would the Lord mention Noah, Edomite, and Daniel, all in the same sentence in another book in the Bible, man? Though Noah, Esau, and Job stood before me, or Daniel, yet my heart, that's just outright shenanigans, man. Right? It's just madness. So again, just geographically speaking, us land south of Judah, around the land of Edom. Right now, when you look at that landmass, don't equate Job's dwelling there to the bloodline of the Edomites that got that land. Because even if you want to keep it in a historical sense, Esau came after Job, huh? Right? The Edomites came after Job. On a chronology timeline, it's not as if Job came after the Edomites. Yeah, you see the word Timon there. Yeah, you see, but you got to understand that. You got to understand the spirit of Job, right? And what that book is going into. A lot of times, brothers get overthrown. You get overthrown, right? But you got it, King.
Khan, and last point on that, the Lord said through the hand of Job, says in Job 23:12, neither have I gone back from the commandment of his lips. Right. Also, Job didn't go back from the commandments that was given from him. He kept all of the commandments. Right? Job was a perfect man and upright. Esau is the biggest hypocrite right on the earth. Right? He'll say one thing, but he'll do the other. Right? The Lord said, I have esteemed his words of his mouth more than my necessary food. Right? So, that's the same thing the Lord said. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yahweh. So Job was already in that spirit from the foundation of the earth. To understand how deep it is to esteem the words of the Most High and not go back from it. So Job cannot be an Edomite. The Lord said in Deuteronomy 29:29, paraphrasing greatly, the secret things of the Lord belong to us and our children forever. Meaning, if you're an Israelite, a son of God, the chosen line of the Most High, from the very foundation, you'll always be tapped in the spirit if the Lord chose you. These other nations, you can't buy the spirit. Like when you read the book of Acts, chapter 8, verse 18, all the way down. That sorcerer was trying to buy the spirit. You can't buy this understanding. Can't go to school for it. Can't watch all of the cold cut channel. And then read on your own and think you're going to tap in and get it. Because it wasn't given to you. It was only given to the servants of the Most High from the foundation of the earth. So when you read this, Job prophesied it. It's a lot of things that Job did. Job can't be an Edomite.
Yeah, read Job the 30th chapter. Read Job chapter 30. That would be a hypocrite, huh? Job would be a hypocrite. For him to be an Edomite and say everything he said. Well, read how Job was in Job 29. He said as king, huh? Among the people. Then Job 30 goes against the Edomites. Like I said, well, I don't see the word Edom in there. They don't say Esau in Job 30. That's another reason why people get tripped up, because you're looking for stuff, man. Right? It's the spirit. It's not always going to say Edom. Job 20, Job 21, Job 18, Job 14. right? Certain chapters, Job 30 is not going to say Edom. Okay, Esau, Idumea, right? Romans, Greeks. But you got to, it's just the spirit, right? You got to get the spirit of who this man is, man, right? Like it is Job 30:1. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, Salakia, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Job said there is a people that's younger than him, right? In the spirit, right? Because we're the chosen people of the Most High, right? As the firstborn sons of God, we are the sons of God. Everybody else is beneath us, right? So they are younger than us. You may say, well, Esau came out first. Yeah, in the flesh, but not in the spirit, right? Anything the Most High sanctified us, man. Right? So they that are younger than I had me in derision, whose dogs I would have disdained, like whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. So Job said, I don't even want these Edomites around my dogs. Man. Why would Job, what type of Edomite would say that he don't want other Edomites around his dogs? Right? I mean, that's they ain't the deal, man. Go to these dog parks, man. These Edomites dressing up like dogs, sniffing each other up, man. Playing fetch and furries and dressing up and secret clubs at night. These Edomites getting off of work, putting on a full zip costume and all black, going to some dark room with strobe lights and walking around and sniffing each other, unzipping a mask, eating dog food, meeting up for tequila and freaking off, man. So Job didn't want these Edomites even around his dogs, right? If I had a dog, which I don't, you think I'm gonna let an Edomite kind of get around? No, man. Am I going to tell you why? Well, you'll find out why, man. If you let an Edomite get around the beast, man. Right? Verse 2. Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, to whom old age is perished. So Job said, well, what the hell can they do for me? What is the strength of Esau's hands? His universities, colleges, his army, his military. What can they do for me? Because in old age they perish. Job said, I know something about them, man. I know the truth about these Edomites. In old age, they was living in caves. So don't act like they can strengthen you and help you now, man. I know something about these Edomites. So a lot of people that's what Job is saying. A lot of people get all tripped up with the suits and the ties and the flashy lights. Don't you know in old age they perish? Don't you know that they crawled out of the damn abyss of the mountains, man? And they were scraping brain matter out of the skull and eating it and cracking lice. And they would wear they undergarments till they disintegrated. And they had a club and they would hit a woman upside the head, pop, and drag you by the damn foot, man. Fred Flintstone. So they was up there being a Cro-Magnon, man. Homo erectus, right? Homo neanderthalis. That was Esau, man. Howling at the moon. So you said what?
No, go ahead. I got something after you.
Yeah, that's why it says, yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me? Right? What could they do for me? In whom old age was perished. For want and famine, they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness, in former time, desolate and waste. When you're fleeing, what does that mean? Somebody's chasing you. Somebody's putting you to flight. So who was putting Esau to flight? Israel during the dark ages. And a lot of these other dark nations was chasing Esau up, right, into the mountains. So they got put to flight, right? And they had to flee for lack and for famine because you had the whole system taken over by the so-called black man, right? And they got chased out of the world. It's going to happen all over again. But you got it, King.
I just looked it up, and they got a name for it, man. Esau. It's called pup play. Pup, like a puppy. It's called pup play. It said pup play is a kind of role play in which humans adopt the personality and mentality of a puppy. This can take many forms, and simply enjoying a headspace and feeling like a puppy to wear a pup hood, mittens, and gear than someone has to play the role of a handler. Right? So that's the type of stuff he's into. Right? That's the type of madness that Esau is into. So when Job was rebuking him, he wasn't rebuking himself. Right? I mean, that's madness. Esau, the only person on earth that dress up like a beast. He want to wear horns, right? He want to take on the spirit of a dog, right? He want to eat raw meat. His nature and his spirit is of Job, the 30th chapter. Job and his spirit is of the righteous, the things that he do. Job was doing burnt offerings. He was cooking his food. He wasn't in the wilderness doing God knows what. When you read the book of Job, another cut is Job, the 28th chapter. Why did nobody on earth know the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Lord? But Job's telling you that there's a place and there's something that no man knows about. No man knows how to get to the fear of the Most High. Not the lion woke was trotting it down. Not the eagle which seen over the fowls of the air. Nobody knows the place of wisdom. But yet Job is identifying and showing you how to get there. Let me get this real fast. It's Job chapter 28. So he's the one Edomite to teach all Israel how to get to the Most High. This Job chapter 28 in verse, this whole thing is fire. It says, I'm gonna start at 7. There is a path which no fowl knoweth. And the fowl knows all the paths. Because the fowl looks down upon all of the crefts, the valleys, the streams. Right? He sees all of the paths. It says, knoweth, and which the vulture's eye have not seen. Meaning there is a place where none of these animals have seen. The lion's whelp have not trodden it, meaning a lion could go anywhere. Nobody in the jungle, no animal in the jungle is going to say stop to the lion. The lion can't go forth any longer. He rules the jungle. It says, nor the fierce lion passed by it. He putteth forth his hand upon the rock. He overturneth the mountains by the roots. He cutteth out the rivers among the rocks, and his eyes see every precious thing. He bindeth the floods from overflowing, and the thing that is hid bring he forth to the light. Right? I'm going to jump straight down to the point. Jumping down to verse number 23. God understandeth the way thereof, and he knoweth the place thereof. For he looketh to the ends of the earth, and seeth under the whole heaven, to make the weight for the winds, and the weight, right, for the waters by measure. When he made a decree for the rain, and for the which the lightning and thunder. Then did he see it and declare it. He prepared it. Yeah, he searched it out. And unto man he said, behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. So all these creatures don't know the way thereof, nor does man, the wicked, know the way thereof. But yet Job's telling you the way of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Most High. So he would have to have the fear of the Most High. We would have to have the understanding, because nobody else knows it. So, I mean, it's a lot of gems in the cut and in these chapters that you read that'll point to Job that has the spirit of the Most High.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So Job, no, Job is not an Edomite. Right? Job is not an Edomite. Job is a man of the Most High. Right? Job is a man of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Right? Job is a man of the Lord. So let me get this one off. So there's another other doctrines, right? Other doctrines that we could dive into. Like I said, we could read down the list. You know, we maybe hit some head choppers. I do want to touch on the nations trying to take us down in the kingdom, right? I do want to kind of touch on that, man, because I'm hearing that a lot going on through the spirit. That the nations are going to try to overthrow us and try to attack us, you know, in our glory, and use, you know, build weapons to sneak up on us and plot and have a conspiracy to, you know, take the children of Israel down in the kingdom and hide and, you know, have weaponry and councils and hidden, you know, conspiracies, right? And speeches in the dark on how we're going to be overthrown, right? So that's going on in Israel too, along with a lot of other things we want to touch on. But I do want to get maybe one or two quick precepts on that. through the Spirit about how the nations are going to try to take us down in the kingdom. All right. So let me get one quick. I get maybe get one or two. Right. So no, the nations aren't going to try to take us down in the kingdom. Right. We're not going to be in the kingdom, and then the nations are going to have a massive plan, and we're going to let them loose out of slavery, and then use that as an opportunity for them to come up with a big idea where they get together, set up a head officer, and then set up, maybe a think tank, and they build a table, and we lose complete visibility on all of the nations, and they build weapons, and they set up ranks and soldiers, and they get shields and bucklers and arrows, and a sixth part of them stay back there, but then another part of them, pursuant to Ezekiel 39, they say, okay, we're going to be the ones that go fight. Then they come fight. Then the Lord, he says, well, what the hell is going on? So the Lord got to come down off the throne again, and say, well, what the hell is this? And the Lord got to come back down and make his name known again. And we were frightened, we're scared. Lord, save us, save us. Then the Lord come and save us. And the Edomites almost took us out, right? So we want to kind of touch on that. Just a quick precept or two. I want to get Psalms chapter 46 and verse 8. Let's start at 6. Right? Psalms 46 and 6. The heathen raged, the kingdoms were moved. He uttered his voice, the earth melted. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Come, behold the works of Yahweh, what desolations he hath made in the earth. So that's a commandment to look at the destruction that Yahweh Shah is going to do on the earth. You're going to see buildings caved in and destroyed, and the elements melted with fervent heat, and craters in the earth, and trees broken down, and dead bodies. It says, come and see the works of the Most High, right? It reads in verse 9, he maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. He breaketh the bow and cutteth the spear in sunder. He burneth the chariot in the fire. So when Yahweh Shah returns, he's going to make all wars to cease on the earth. So it's not as if the Lord is going to return, destroy all of the nations in war, and then, boy, this is what I'm hearing. This is still, I'm trying to wrap my mind around it. The Lord destroyed the nations, right? We put the nations in slavery, and then they use it as an opportunity. We let them go after 1,000 years. Then they come and build again. And then the Lord got to attack them again. Then he make wars to cease. No, when the Lord return, that's it, man. It's a done deal. It says he maketh wars to cease unto the ends of the earth. That's talking about immediately upon Yahweh Shah's return, right? Let me read that again. He maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. He breaketh the bow and cutteth the spear in sunder. He burneth the chariot in the fire, right? You got it, King.
Khan, and I want to touch on that. That's why you have to know prophecy. You have to dive into prophecy and understand it, or else you're going to be extremely confused. It's the book of Micah, chapter 4, and verse number 1. It says, but in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountains. Right? That's talking about Israel. We're going to be above all nations, right? And every nation is going to be under us. It says, and it shall be exalted above the hills, right? Lower nations. The people shall flow unto it. And then everybody's going to come and have tribute, right, unto the Lord. It says, and many nations shall come, right, and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord and to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Right, we're going to be the governors, the teachers, the rulers, right, the princes. It says, and he shall judge among the people and rebuke strong nations afar off, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares. So when we're in the kingdom, they're going to beat all of their weaponry and armor into plowshares. It doesn't say that they're going to hide them. It didn't say that they were going to tuck them in a cave somewhere. Right? It didn't say that, they will be able to open up factories and machinery and get different things, right, that they would need. and their spears into plunge hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. So the Lord said, once they start to come up, they're not going to learn war anymore. Not going to have a switchblade, right, tucked down, right, behind you in the kingdom of heaven. Not going to have an AK-47 in a cut in a bush or somewhere. The Lord's going to make you take all your weapons and beat them down. So now you're not going to have any weapons anymore. You're not going to have a secret stash, right, of slingshots and knives and blades. The Lord's going to take all of those swords and beat them down, and you're not going to learn war anymore, right? Let me get the same precept in Isaiah. It's Isaiah chapter 2 and verse number 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the house of the Lord, it's like the mountain of the house, shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow into it. And many people shall go and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For Salakia, out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into plunge hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. So the Lord is saying, once we're in the kingdom, you're not going to learn and have war anymore. What you got?
Yeah, I actually got a headache. You know, I gotta. It's vexing. It just doesn't make any damn sense. I'm gonna just put it out there. It just makes no sense prophetically or in the scriptures. You know, I let me get this. This Hosea chapter 2 and 14. These doctrines, man, certain doctrines, right? I mean, I don't get it, right? Hosea 2 and 14. Therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak comfortably unto her. This is going into a prophecy of the second wilderness. The Lord is going to bring Israel into the second wilderness. Now, the second wilderness is going to be before the kingdom is even established. Verse 15, and I will give her vineyards from thence, and the valley of Achor for a door of hope. And she shall sing there as in the days of her youth, and as in the day when she came up out of the land of Egypt. When we came out of Egypt, we rejoiced, right? And it shall be at that day, said the Lord, that thou shalt call me Ishi. That means husband, right? And shall no more call me Baali, or Lord, to false gods. Verse 17. And I will take away the names of Baalim out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. Here's the point. Now, this is us being restored in the wilderness. And in that day will I make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven, and with the creeping things of the ground. And I will break their bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth, and will make them to lie down safely. That's in the second wilderness. So how in the hell are you going to have the Lord say he's going to break the bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth, but then 1,000 years later, the nations learn battle and war, and they build up what the Lord broke down? Tell me anybody that can build up what the Most High breaks down. And I'll close this live right now. I will close this live right now, and I will go and I will walk to God knows where, man. Right? I will get in the boat and just go anywhere, man. I would just pay the fare like Jonah and take me to Tarshish. Right? Tell me anybody that can build up what the Lord breaks down. Rather you did a 5 years, 5,000 years, or 500 years. Because it's saying, let's give you the context. So with certain prophecies, you see the prophecies are heavy because certain prophecies, you go line upon line, certain prophecies jump out of time. Certain prophecies follow chapter, certain chapters go right next to each other. Right now, the Lord said he's going to break the bow and the sword and battle out of the earth and will make them to lie down safely. This is verse 19. And I will betroth thee unto me forever. Yea, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness and in judgment and in loving kindness and in mercies. I will even betroth thee unto me in faithfulness, and thou shalt know the Lord. Huh? Right? So, I mean, that's absolute plain. That's plain upon tables. The Most High said, as we get into that second wilderness, all of the wars and battles are going to be taken out of the earth. So, how in the hell are the nations going to come up with a plan to try to overthrow the children of Israel in the kingdom? Let me get one more real quick, right? We don't want to spend all day on this one. I just want to get, it's coming on the scene, it's coming to light, right? So, we want to talk about it, we want to address it, right? We want to kind of just bring it up, because there is a lot of madness in Israel going on, and a lot of folly, and just outright foolery, man. Just outright foolery. This Isaiah, right? Chapter. Actually, go ahead, King. I'm not about to. You got it.
Okay, right. This Isaiah chapter 65, right, and verse 17 says, "For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind." So the former things of the old earth are not going to come into mind. The former understanding, the former doctrines, the former philosophies, the former wars, the former military might, the former tanks, the former shotgun, like everything of the old world is going to be done away. Everything. The Lord said is not going to come to mind. And the Esau and the nations are not going to be thinking about the missiles that they created and how to do that all over again. It's not going to be. I mean, when the Lord set up righteousness, we're going to teach these nations, thus saith the Lord. And they're going to have to walk in the light of it. And if they don't, they're going to be judged and beaten. It says, "But be ye glad and rejoice forever in that I create. For behold, I create in Jerusalem rejoicing, and her people a joy. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem and joy in my people, and the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying." So you're never going to weep in the kingdom, right? You're not going to be crying and figuring out what's going on. You're not going to be frantic. You're not going to be frightened. You're not going to be scared. You're not going to be overthrown, right? That's madness. Jumping down to verse, I'm going to get 21. Look at this straight point. It says, "And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them." Now, if we're going to, with certain people's understanding, if you're going to have 1,000 years where you're reigning, you will have to have some type of establishment to live in. You have to have some type of palace, some type of household. You have to have something that you're dwelling in. You're not going to be reigning for 1,000 years outside. You have to have some type of covering and house to cover your shame. Will have to be a temple. Things will have to be built. The Lord said, "They shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. As for the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. They shall not labor in vain and bring forth of trouble for trouble." It says, "For the seed of the seed of the blessed of the Lord, and their offspring will bless them. And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear." It's the point. "The wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the bullock, and thus shall be the serpent's meat. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, saith the Lord." That's plain. That's not an in-depth breakdown. That's not a similitude. That's not a deep, dark parable. The Lord told you plain upon tables that in the kingdom, when we build up, it's not going to be broken down ever again. Nor are we going to have to worry about being broken down through weeping. Nor are we going to have to worry about anything. And the wolf and the lamb are going to dwell together safely, and they shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain. You got it.
And why would we let them loose? Who's going to give that decree? Just to let all our slaves loose? For what? Just let them loose. Like you take a dog, they showing them TV shows, he got in a cardboard box, you put him in the field, go, I don't want you anymore. Go. Right? He's just sitting up there figuring out, you just say, go, run, I don't want you. We're not gonna do that. Just take all the Edomites, just put them in the field, just go. And they say yes. And they peel off and he starts sharpening stone, rubbing hands together, summon a leader, because it has to be a general. Somebody has to orchestrate this. We're just going to let them all go. And they're going to climb down the mountains and build weapons, machinery, metal, bows, arrows, food, barracks, training. They have to train. And we're just going to be doing, what are we going to be doing? Are we going to know all things? The Lord said, ye shall be known even as I also am known, paraphrasing. In 1 Corinthians chapter 13. So for we prophesy in part. Right? Let me actually get that real quick. Where are we going to be at, man? You mean to tell me we're just going to be lost? We're not going to know what the hell is going on. Right? Let me just get a few quick precepts before I start getting mad. Right? This 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 12. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, right? I mean, we know the prophecies in part, right? But it reads, but then shall I know, even as also I am known. So the Lord knows everything about us. It says, then shall I know, even as also I am known. Is there anything that the Lord don't know about us? No, the Lord knows everything about us. So we're going to know. We're going to know what the hell is going on. Right? Even in the time of Joshua, without spiritual bodies, the fear fell upon all of the inhabitants, man. I mean, you had people fainting, passing out when the Lord destroyed Egypt, man. The Lord put that fear on the nations. He put the fear on the people that pursued Jacob, man. When Simeon and Levi destroyed the Hivites or the Hittites. The Most High put the fear on them, man. So you mean to tell me these nations aren't going to have the fear of the Lord on them? You mean to tell me the Most High got to magnify his name a third time? Then the Lord say, even for the same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. You mean the Most High got to do that again? He got to double down. He got to raise you up a third time just to destroy you, because his name, he fell short to do it the other time. Stop playing with the Most High, man. Because you're making the Most High a fool. You're charging the Most High with Father like he got to magnify his name 2 times because you want to break the scriptures down wrong. He got to do it a third time. He got to raise you up again. Where is that at in the scriptures? There should be another few verses after Romans 9. Right? And right after Romans 9 is, okay, then there's a third time. Right? I really said that, but I really meant, a third time I might have to really. No, that's madness, man. Didn't the Lord say, who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah? You mean the Lord missed some blood on his garment? If you got to kill certain people? It said the slain of the Lord shall be many. Then he got to come back. I mean, this is madness. This is madness. I've never seen and heard anything like it. Right, let me get one more. Salaki. This is Psalms. Isaiah 54. Right. We didn't plan on but let me just get this real quick. This Isaiah 54. The Lord said he maketh peace in his high places, man. In the book of Job, the 25th chapter. It says fear and dominion are with him. So they're going to come out of nowhere. We're going to have watchmen upon the walls. Here comes the other nations. During the kingdom, then we got to go. Who's going to bury their bodies? Because don't the prophecy say we got to bury their bodies? And that means we got to bury their weapons because all of the nations coming against us. This Isaiah chapter 54 and verse 13. And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children. And righteousness shalt thou be established. It's not going to be after 1,000 years we're established in righteousness. What sense does that mean? We're not. That means after we get delivered, there's not going to be any righteousness to establish us. No, this is immediately upon our deliverance, and righteousness shalt thou be established. Not you got 1,000 years and then you're established in righteousness. In righteousness shalt thou be established. Thou shalt be far from oppression, for thou shalt not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near thee. What does that mean? No terror, no fear. So how the hell are the other nations going to try to attack us, man? The Lord said terror and fear is not going to come near you. When is that prophecy going to happen? When is that going to happen? Verse 15. Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake. So, that's, I don't want to, you got it, King.
Yeah, certain things are just plain, right? When you read Psalms 122, I'm going to get that quick chapter, right? Psalms 122. This is talking about in the kingdom. This Psalm chapter 122, I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. Our feet shall stand within thy gates, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem is builded as a city that is compact together. So Jerusalem going to be built up. Whether the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord, unto the testimony of Israel, to give thanks unto the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. For there are set thrones of judgment, the thrones of the house of David. So this is talking about the kingdom going to be built up. You're going to have thrones. You're going to have rulership. Everything's going to be in order. It's going to be established. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. They shall prosper that love thee. This is the point. Peace be within thy walls and prosperity within thy palaces. We'll read that again. Peace be within thy walls. So if you're in the walls of Jerusalem and you're in the kingdom, what did the Most High say? Peace is going to be all within those walls. It says prosperity within thy palaces. For my brethren and companions' sake, I will now say, peace be with thee, because the house of the Lord our God, I will seek thy good. That's plain. The Lord told you that there's going to be peace, right? It's not going to be any war. And when you're in the kingdom and things are built up and you're in there, the Lord said there's going to be peace within thy gates and thrones and judgment. So, it's not going to be any type of madness going on in the kingdom, and they're all coming together under one decree, right? These hundreds of thousands of Edomites, and they're all on one decree to overtake us in the kingdom. When we have spiritual powers, our palaces are built up, and when we have set thrones of judgment.
Yeah, I got one or two more. There's so many scriptures, man. There's so many scriptures that you can go into, man. This Isaiah 9:6, class, right? For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace, there shall be no end. Hold on. So if the Lord is establishing the government in Israel and setting the apostles up, isn't that building the government up and setting men up in the house of David? Wouldn't nations coming against us, wouldn't that break peace? That's the opposite of peace. That's war. If you're saying the nations are going to war against us, you're saying that Yahweh's government is not going to have peace forever, man. Because the prophecy says, and peace is like of the increase of his government, and peace there shall be no end. So it's not going to stop after 1,000 years just to get them attacked. Then the Lord got to stop the peace, then go to war. How come he's not called the Prince of Peace and War? It says, of the increase of his government and peace, there shall be no end upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom to order it. So that would be out of order to let them all go. That's out of order to let them go. For what? Now you do have prophecies where the nation's captivity is going to be loosened a little bit, like you read that in Jeremiah, 48, like 46 with the other nations, and you read about it with the Moabites, and it says the Lord shall return to captivity thus far, it's the judgment of Moab, etc. But they're still going to be our slaves. They're not just going to be let go, and they're not going to fight against us. Right? Let me read on. And upon his kingdom to order it and to establish it with judgment and justice from henceforth forever. Slakia, from henceforth even forever. So that would be no justice and no judgment. That would just be injustice to have the nations build weapons. And my question is, where are they getting these weapons from? That's the question. Where are they getting them from? And how are we not going to know? We're going to know these things, man. We're going to have spiritual power. So we're not going to know what the hell is going on. And where is this going to be? Where are they going to be building them at? And how are they going to build them? How long is that going to take? Because it says after 1,000 years. So that means from day 1 to 1,000, they got to be building weapons. Because right after that 1,000th year, it's time for war. So you mean to tell me what year is that? Is that year 500 when they're going to start? Okay, year 500. Okay, well maybe after 1,000 years we let them go. Then 1,000, and that same year they came and attacked us. When are they going to attack us? That's what I want. Is that the 1,001st year, or is that the 2,000th year? All right, you got it, King. That's all I had on that.
Con, I was looking it up. I want to get this. Let me see, Salaki. My phone kind of moving slow. I was looking it up. It says, Salaki, bear with me. How to build a gun. All the strategic, mapped out parts going into a gun, and the mechanisms and different things that you will really need to really go into it and to make it. And you can't make these things with your bare hands. You can't just form those screws and those nuts and those barrels and the springs and the nuts and the different things like that, and the cartridges and the plastic. You need machine to do those type of things. You don't build a car with your bare hands. You have machinery. Machinery makes other machinery. No, man is not going to be like, all right, you know what? And you just turn into David and you just bend a bow of steel, man. Right? No, you have these machinery, these plants, these different things. And when you make these things, it takes machines to make it. Now, and if you're going to go into it, where are they going to get all of these? Where's all this going to come from? Where's all of these parts going to come from if they're just leaving slavery? After all of their things are destroyed in World War III, and they have nothing. Because when we got off them slave ships, what do we have? We barely had clothes on. We didn't take anything with us. We were whooped. We were beat. Right? They took our language, our nationality. Right? They took everything from us. Our children, our wives. Right? For the women, their husbands. And they didn't have anything but barely some clothes on, a big chain wrapped around their neck, their hands, and their feet. So, I mean, where are they going to get the type of understanding as well as the machinery to build these weapons of mass destruction and war? But you got it. I just wanted to bring that out.
Yeah, and the Lord said in Deuteronomy 30:7 that all the curses that we go through is going to go through them, going up. Now the Lord said they should go You have to go to your enemy for the one of all things. That's part of the curses. So even if they wanted a weapon, and we're not going to give them a weapon. Why would we give our Edomites the opportunity to build a weapon? Why? Oh, you may say, okay, we're not going to build a gun. They're going to build a buckler. Well, you can't just build a buckler and a shield. You got to get that out there. That mean they're going to have blacksmith, bronzesmith. They're going to have to learn that craft all over again, right? They took a trade. Okay. This is brassmith class. Okay, and you're a goldsmith. Okay, and you're an ironsmith, right? And then each Edomite, okay, today class, you're going to learn how to make a sword. So they take it and they doing this and they beating it with the damn thing, like the movie, right? With the anvil, and then they take it and they put it in the water, and they hold up and it's kind of orange. Then they glow it and they take it on the thing and they sharpen it.
They singing.
Yeah, they damn singing and they putting it through the thing where it's sharpened up, and they got to make. The Lord said their numbers as the sand of the sea. So they got to make all these damn swords, right? Then they got to get all these bows and arrows, and they got to set up a target practice, and they got to aim, and they got to practice, right? Okay, we're ready, right? Then they have to lead this massive charge, right? That's madness. Madness. You got anything else on that one, King?
But it's real interesting when you go into how you really make a gun and the part. I'm looking at it right now, how strategic this really is. But nah, I don't got nothing else on it.
Come on. All right, so like I said, we got a good list, man. I got time for maybe one more, two more. Let's see what we see on the comment board. Right? Any I know I saw a few on here. Okay, so like your T-Tone. Israel by birth, is it a scripture for it being okay to keep birthdays? Well, you can't keep birthdays. Right? You can't keep birth. There's no scripture for it being okay to keep a birthday. All right. Let me get a quick precept on that. You got something on that?
I got something. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 20, verse 14. It says, "Cursed be the day wherein I was born. Let not the day wherein my mother bare me be blessed." And that's the same thing that they do on the day of your birth, right? Everybody blesses you. They make you a god. It's really idolizing yourself. You put yourself on some type of pedestal. You get you a new outfit. You get you, some new clothes, right? Everybody's nice to you, right? Even people that don't like you, they're nice to you. Your boss, they're clapping. Everybody's dancing, right? People bringing out a cake, right? And why is it a cake with candles? You're doing sacrifices and having fire and blowing and making wishes into a god. You don't even perceive it. You don't know the origins of these things, why they exist. You don't know why you're doing it. You're just moving in a spirit of repetitive things that have been passed down from generation to generation. It's idol worship. It's breaking the first commandment. You're making yourself higher than the Most High. Because before you get a Most High to praise, who you praising? You're praising yourself. You're doing what you want to do. So when you go into this day, that's one of the most wickedest days that people celebrate on earth.
That's right. And that's in the book of Satanism. We pulled it up before, man, online. When you go online and you type it in, that is their high holy day. That's like their Passover, right? Or their Day of Atonement. The top day of Satanism is celebrating your birthday, right? It goes all into sorcery and witchcraft and idolatry, right? Let me get a quick precept, right? This is let me get Ecclesiastes 10th chapter, right? Because the people make that day about themselves, man. Certain people. I heard two people at the plantation talking about that today. This Jake asked this Eve, "Why you treat me like that? What, you a Capricorn?" Yeah, I'm a Capricorn. When was that, January? I just walked off, man. right? So they be into their birthdays and astrology and when they was born and the power they have, and that's madness, man. You got grown men. It's the big 40, right? Turn to 45. What you gonna get me? Right? They going out, they buying. I knew somebody that bought their own birthday cake because nobody would buy them anything. So they bought their own balloons and their own birthday cake. I mean, the stuff that the lengths that people go to, man, to praise themselves is badness, and they're making wishes. Who are you making a wish to? Right? Who you make? When did the Mosai say, "Close your eyes, blow fire, and make a wish"? Then you miss, then you wish again. Then they got the trick can. You got to keep blowing. Right? Let me get this real quick. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 9. Why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man. For such an one setteth his own soul to sell, because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels. So the Lord said, earth and ashes should not be proud, right? We're not a people that tracked our birthdays, right? We had, okay, this man was born in this year or in the 13th year of King Hezekiah, this happened, right? But we weren't a people that was, okay, look, I'm 31, oh, I'm about to be 32. That's not Israelite Hebraic culture and lifestyle. When you read Genesis 40, Matthew the 14th chapter, right? These different accounts, anytime a birthday is mentioned, somebody getting a head chopped off, first of all, and second of all, it's always a heathen celebrating their birthday. Second Maccabees, the 6th chapter, somebody's always dying or being tortured, and these heathen are celebrating the day of their birth, man. We call upon Yahweh Ba'ashmiah Washah. Right? We celebrate the feast days that the Most High has given us, and we glorify Yahweh. We don't make days about us. Your so-called birthday is an ordinary day, pursuant to Sirach 33:7. Some of them have to be made ordinary days, and some of them have to be made high days. Right? So the day that you was born is an ordinary day. You got grown men, well, I'm 31 and a half. Because you're just sitting there lusting the count, man. What do you mean you're 31 and a half, brother? Yeah, well, I got a summer birthday and I got a winter birthday. What you get me? Can I get a hug? Right? Can I get no, man? Right? You keep the commandments of the Most High and you glorify Yahweh Shai on his feast days. You don't glorify yourself looking for gifts and bottles and liquor, man. You got it, King.
Kind too. When somebody's older than somebody, you put a spirit on somebody. Yeah, I'm older than you. Yeah, I tell you what to do.
Right.
Not somebody acting like they know more than you. Right? They tell you what to do. Right? They boss you around. You a kid. What, you 12? Well, I'm 13. Right? Put a spirit on you when you keeping track of your age. Hey, this is what David said. This Psalm chapter 30, it's like 71 and verse 8. Let my mouth be filled with thy praise and with thy honor all the day. So all the day his praise was the Most High. It wasn't of himself. Verse 9. Cast me not off in the time of old age. Forsake me not when my strength faileth. So David said, don't cast me off in the time of my old age. And then his old age and his mouth and every single day of his life was filled with the praises of the Most High in his old age. He wasn't making candles and wishes and blowing them and, we got to do this. And, that's just utter pure madness, to idol worship and put yourself on a pedestal. The Most High is not with. That's the chief thing we fell from. Baking cakes to the Queen of Heaven and bowing down and burning up to Molech and every green tree, doing sacrifices. All of this idol worship that has caused our demise and destruction as a people. So the Most High is against that. That's the chief thing that we do. And we know that we do it every single day in Babylon, man. And we praise these cartoon characters, these movies, these celebrities, right? These people, they even call them idols. He's my idol, right? There'll be a picture of Kevin Hart on that damn wall. He's my idol. This is Denzel Washington. I always wanted to meet you, right? The Most High is not with that. So we got to cast away these traditions, right? And come back to the Most High in the last days.
Come. That's right. Right. So these are excellent questions. Excellent questions through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shibra Mashiach Kwamalak Yahushua. All right, let's see what else we got. Right, what else we got? Any other quick questions we can kind of address through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai? All right, let's see if we can tackle one more doctrine. Let's deal with let's see. Let's deal with oh boy, I mean all these are good, man. Right, let's deal with we'll save some good ones for next week, Lord willing, if we still here. All right, let's deal with you could divorce your wife spiritually. Right, that's the doctrine. If your wife, you can put away your wife for any reason, and you can put away your wife spiritually. Right, that's a big deal. You got a lot of sisters getting put away spiritually. Right, maybe they sinned, maybe they fell off, they fell short, and now they're getting bills of divorces in their hand, and they getting their bags packed up, by their husbands, and they getting put in a Greyhound to go back down south or go back to their mother house, man. Right, they did this wrong, they did that wrong, they didn't understand the scripture, maybe they really fell short, and whatever. Right, they neglected their wifely duties and they got put away. Right, they call it spiritual fornication. Hey, here, you can take this, you can go, God knows where. Right, it's like it came. Give me 1 second.
Okay, come. Right, and I'm about to bring this precept out. Right, in the book of Matthew, right, the classic. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 19, in verse, right? I'm going to start at 5. I'm going to start at 3. It says, and the Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, is it lawful for man to put away his wife for every cause? Right, in the ancient world, I mean, you may buy your wife, or whatever the case may be, right, through the money, and find out that she can't cook, or she can't clean, or may find some type of illness in her eyes, or whatever that you don't like. You may say, well, you know what? I'm going to give her back. I want my money back. Right, whatever the case may be, you do away with her and sell her to a strange nation. It says, and he answered and said unto them, have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female, and said, for this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they twine should be one flesh. So if you're one flesh, you can't do away with your arm. You can't do away with your elbow, your hand, your fingers, right? Your damn legs. I've never seen, just because you have broken limb, that your limb just gets up and walks away. Man, you may have calluses, you may have burns, you may have 3rd-degree burns, you may have these different ailments and things that happen to your body that may be detrimental to you, but that doesn't mean that you're going to get rid of them or they're going to leave you. They're on your body because why? They're a part of you. And once you do that, you make that seal and that contract and that covenant with your wife, through the spirit, laying down together in a covenant in the eyes of the Most High. You understand and confess out of your mouth that you two twine are one flesh. Then you have to uphold that. That's not an upholding it for a moment or a week or a month or 3 years, or when times get rough, you throw in the towel. That's a forever contract you made. When we made that contract, that covenant through the spirit and power in the wilderness, and guess what? We got to uphold that. It doesn't matter how much time goes by. And Jake loves saying that's the Old Testament. When did the Most High say, well, these are the Old Testament covenants, and it's just in the Old Testament? No, when you enter into a vow, the Lord is big on vows. You have to keep your vow. That's in Ecclesiastes, the 5th chapter. Right, let me get that real fast. If you're not keeping your vow that you professed out of your mouth, the Lord could kill you. And what happened to that man in the book of Judges? Right? He made a vow presumptuously out of his mouth. And what happened? He had to require that which he had vowed before the Lord, which was his daughter. So whatever you vow to the Lord, you got to pay up. The Lord said, I will perform thy vows through the hand of David. It's the book of Ecclesiastes 5. And I'm going to start at verse number 4. It says, when thou vowest a vow unto Yahweh, defer not to pay it, for he have no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou vowed. When you have to pay what you vowed to the Lord. Because if you don't, you're a liar. You're a deceiver. And you're dealing unjustly with the Lord. You may deal unjustly with man, but dealing unjustly with the Lord and you owe the Lord something, and the Lord, you have to pay what you owe. Going back to Matthew chapter 19 and verse number 6, wherefore they are no more twined but one flesh. What therefore God have joined together, let no man put asunder. Right? If you want to touch on the latter part of it, you got it.
Yeah, I mean, putting away your wife spiritually, Salakia, in the ancient world or even today, the only reason you can put away your wife is divorce. I mean, Salakia, adultery or fornication, right? Let me get that real quick. You brought that out already?
La.
Get that real quick. Right, Matthew chapter 19. Right now, brother may say, what if my wife has a Baphomet etched in the floor and she's burning incense to Satan, and she's into witchcraft and sorcery, or she's she's cutting herself and praising a demonic god, right? That's a whole nother story, right? And there's a way to go about that too, and righteousness. So there's a way to handle things through the spirit of prophet Shah. Right? This is the book of St. Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 28. But I say unto Slaki, I want 31. It hath been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. But I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, causeth her to commit adultery. And whosoever shall whosoever shall marry her that is divorced, committeth adultery. So you can only put away your wife for fornication. Adultery is just one form of fornication. Right? It kind of covers everything, but there's different levels of adultery or fornication, right? It could be a bestiality, laying down with an animal. It could be homosexuality. She laying down with another woman. That's still adultery, right? Fornication, right? It could be incestual relationship. It can be just outright adultery, laying with another man, right? It can be some pedophilic act. It can be all types of fornication, man, right? So we got to understand what fornication is. So if your wife commits fornication, then you can give a bill of divorce, and you could separate from her in righteousness, right? Because she burnt the unleavened bread, or she gained 3 pounds. That don't mean you can put away your wife, right? Adultery and or fornication. That's plain. Now, when you go to, would you read King Salaki in 1 Corinthians 7? I had a call.
Oh, I read Matthew 19.
Oh, you read Matthew 19. I think you're okay. Let me get this in quick precept of 1 Corinthians 7. Right? 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 12. Actually, I'm gonna start at 10. And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband. So the wife can't just say, you're working 10 hours a day, you're not spending enough time with me. I'm going back down south. Right? I'm going back to mama house. Oh, well, you're doing this video and you didn't take out the trash. I'm going back to Rail House. Right? Or Jamal. I got a ride. This damn Mustang come outside, man, blasting God knows what. Right, with tents on, 5% tents, and she opened the door, bunch of smoke fall out the car, and she get in it, and he peel off, man. That's wickedness. So the wife just can't up and leave and depart from her husband. Now there are exceptions. If a woman's life is in danger, like we say, she's getting beat, she's getting abused, things of that nature. He's creating an environment. Let's say he's in there sniffing cocaine, shooting up. There are levels to it. That's why a woman has to get counseled so she can understand is this the appropriate reason for me to depart from my husband? Because every reason is not the righteous reason to depart from your husband, right? Some things are proud. You're moving in pride, you're moving in haste, you didn't get counsel, you're just doing things in your own mind, right? Let me read on verse 11. And if she depart, the Lord told you not to, but if she happens to do it, if she goes off, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife. The Lord said, do not depart from your husband. But if you decide to break that commandment and do what you want to do, then you have to remain unmarried. It's not as if a woman could depart from her husband and say, finally escaped from Joe. Let me go and see. Let me go through my old contacts. And you're hitting a bill, man. Right now you're calling Bill. Now you're making all these posts on social media. Right? All these, yeah, I'm finally free. Yeah, I have escaped. Right? Yeah, I'm back on the market. Right? And you just doing God knows what, man. No, if a woman decides, and let's say it's a sincere reason for her to leave, a righteous reason for her to leave, she can't marry another man. She has to be reconciled to her husband. That's the only man she could be with. If she don't want to do that, then she got to remain unmarried. Right? It reads, but to the rest speaks I, not the Lord. So like it, the latter part says, and let not the husband put away his wife. That's the point. Let not, men can't put away their wife. Right? You got this other woman you interested in, you kind of neglect. The law says if you take another wife, her food, her raiment, her duty of marriage shall what? Shall not diminish. In Exodus 21:10. Right? So you can't take all of your food from your first wife and give it to her. Damn, take it damn. She got food stamps or she got damn food in the refrigerator for her to take it all out and give it to the other one. All her dresses, you go through all her stuff like a demon, you flipping all her stuff off. Oh yeah, this her size. Take it, put it in the bag, give it to the other wife. And the duty of marriage, you stop dealing with her, man, on an intimate level. Right? And now you neglect her. That's a punishment for a woman. Right? It's not David did that to my call. Right? Not that's the duty of marriage when you look it up. So those are the reasons on why a man should be able to put away his wife. And if your wife committed adultery, you got to put her away. It ain't no okay. Well, she committed adultery, but I want to take her back. She committed adultery, but I want to kind of give her another chance. Go ahead, brother. Give her another chance if you want to. Give her another chance if you want to. This ain't no keep it. They was playing that at the when we went to get something to eat, man. What's that song? That song.
Keep it on the low.
Yeah. I forgot how it go. I would sing it, but I forgot how it go. Yeah. Right. But basically, it's keep it on the low. I don't know who sing that song, but I forgot. Damn. I'm gonna find out though. But don't be like those.
I think it's The Weeknd. I think so. I could be.
He remixed it. He remixed the other one. They had the old, so all that, keep it on the low. I don't want to know, get your own spot if you're going to do it. Right? That's wickedness, man. Right? You got to call it what it is, man. Stop acting like you don't know she's committing adultery, brother. Yeah, if you plan with me, I'm not going to sing it, but I don't want to know spirit, man. That's it. Right? Where's that at in the scriptures? I don't want to know. Right? Where's that at in the Bible, man? If you know the song, you know the song, right? If you plan me, I don't want to know. Keep it on the low. Right? That's wickedness, man. Let me get one quick precept. Proverbs chapter 30. Right? If you plan me, I don't want to know. Men like that are going to be destroyed, man. Right? Men like that aren't going to be in the kingdom. Right? Plan me, I don't want to know. Brother, what do you mean you don't want to know? Right? Proverbs 30:20. Such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth and said, I have done no wickedness. So it might be a woman. Now, when it says she eat and wipe her mouth, it's not talking about unleavened bread, man. Right? That's just it's hip talk. I'm not going to do an in-depth breakdown on what that means, but she eat and wipe her mouth and said, I have done no wickedness. She's coming in at 3 a.m. She has an entire guy's hoodie on, man. You don't have that hoodie. You don't like the Pistons, man. You're a Lakers fan. So how did she get a Pistons hoodie on? Come on, an old hoodie, Grant Hill. Brother, you don't wear polo red. You got all frankincense and myrrh, but all of a sudden your woman, she come in, she smell like polo red.
2X.
2X or 2X on. Right? Brother, you wear a medium. She coming in with a 2X hoodie on, Detroit Pistons, man. Polo red. 3 in the morning. She went to the grocery store at 2 p.m. Oh, my phone died. And here you go. Okay, all right. Okay, your phone died. I got a charger. You need to charge it for you. Yeah, simply, I'll charge it for you. Oh, cool hoodie. Where'd you get that from? That's mighty. It's a mighty hoodie. Yeah. She's like, yeah. I gotta go shower. Yeah. Right. Can I cook you something? Yeah. You know what I like. Right? No, hey, if she committing adultery, hey, guess what? Hey, call it what it is. Ain't no and she just, yeah. Just doing this to you, man. Right? So no putting away your wife for just anything, man. It's wickedness. And women, stop just leaving your husband, man. Because he forgot to take the trash out. Maybe he did it 2 weeks in a row, he forgot, man. Right? What does the law say in Genesis, man? Let not the wife depart from her husband, paraphrasing. Right? Let not man put asunder. And you could be the man putting asunder. It's not always talking about his stepmom, man, or his mother, the in-laws. I don't like the in-laws. It's talking about you, sister, or you, brother. How about you got it,
All right. And one point on that too in 2 Samuel chapter 20, verse 3. Right when Absalom, well, we ain't about to get this whole account, but Absalom went the hell off, right? And brothers should know what he did.
Yeah.
Right, he went the hell off in front of all Israel too. He did a public show in front of all Israel for all eyes to see. And everybody was looking up, and it was happening, right? And after that, this 2 Samuel chapter 20, and with your father's concubines too on top of that.
Right.
That's off. That's wicked. And this man hated his father. Right. The wickedness he did to David was unmatched. It's off. For that to be your father, for him to have raised you in the laws, the statutes, the commandments, have no guile towards you, you have that much hate towards your father. And it's not like he didn't know the precepts. One like David was just in battle 23 hours a day. He slept 30 minutes, and the other 30 minutes he spent raising Absalom. Right? The whole house was filled with the law, statutes, and commandments. So for him to pervert judgment and to do the things that he did was wicked. This 2 Samuel 20 and verse 3. And David came to his house at Jerusalem, and the king took the 10 women, his concubines, which he had left to keep the house, and put them inward and fed them, but went not in unto them, so they were shut up unto the day of their death, living in widowhood. Because he didn't go into them again after Absalom did. So you can't take, your wife back after she got done dealing with Tony, bro. Right? She did God knows what. Right? You smell that funk on her. You smell that sweat or that axe spray or that 75 caddy or whatever the case may be, that old smell. And you damn deal with her again, man. That's off. Right? So he shut her up, and they lived in widowhood right to the day of their death. So you can't be like overthrowing your judgment through the hand of a woman. But you got it, King.
Yeah. So you can't put away your wife physically. And again, if your wife is practicing witchcraft, sorcery, she fighting you. Because there's situations where men, unfortunately, they getting their hands put on by a woman, and vice versa. You got a situation where women getting their hands put on by a man, right? That's a situation where you need to get out of that situation, right? This is not, I can fix him. It's my fault. No, if you're a woman and you're going through domestic abuse, is nothing to be joked around with, man. It's not a game. So that's a warranted situation for a woman to seek refuge. If she needs to go back, find a sister or a mother or whoever she has available to help her. And for that reason she could depart. Now, man, if your wife is like practicing witchcraft and sorcery and doing God knows what, man, that stuff you need to get rid of that, man. And if she need to get put out the house for send her back to her mother or send her back to her father's house, because you're not going to sit there and have that go on in your house, man. Now, is that a reason to divorce? No, she's out your house, man. Right? But legally, by law, you can't divorce her. Legally, by law. But if she trying to bring dudes in, and every time you come in, there's guys in the house, and you coming in the front door. It's this old song, man. It's damn, man, it's another old song. I think it's from the 80s. I think it's called "It Wasn't Me," man. I think it's Tyrone Davis, right? He got this old. Let's see if that's the song. I'm not gonna play it. Yeah, Tyrone Davis. It's called "Sure Wasn't Me," man. Listen to that song, one day, man. Right? You heard that song, King?
Khan, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. He played it. I don't know if they're going. That's the song. Right? So if there's a Tyrone kind of Davis deal going on and all of that, Bobby Womack had the song. I wish he didn't trust me so much. And his guys in the house and his freakism and his madness. You got to quench that demon, bro. You got to quench that demon. Hey, and you might have to put her out your house. I'm going to just call it what it is, man. Now, if you in her house, brother, I mean, what you going to do, man? What the hell you going to do? You in her house.
Salaki. Could you read that?
You could put me any place. Yeah, any yeah, that's the song. Yeah. Sure wasn't me, man. Right? So he's off. Right? He's off. Right? You listen to that. But the point of the matter is no putting away your wife for just any reason, man. There has to be a lawful reason through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai. There has to be fornication. Right? And a man and a woman can't just leave her husband. There has to be a warranted situation through counsel and wisdom, right? And humility to see if that is an appropriate reason for you to separate from your husband. Sometimes there are real reasons. Sometimes it's you in your own mind. Sometimes you gave your strength over to a matter that really wasn't warranted. And that's why counsel is there. That's Sirach 32 and 19. Do nothing without counsel. Right? You got it, King.
Khan. This is the book Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse. This whole thing is fire. I'm gonna start at 1, and I also want to get Isaiah 2 in the spirit. It's Isaiah chapter 50 and verse 1. Thus saith the Lord, where is the bill of your mother's divorcement, whom I have put away, or which of my creditors is it to whom I have sold you? Behold, for your iniquities ye have sold yourself, for your transgressions is this, Salakia, is your mother put away? So the Lord likened unto giving us a bill of divorcement, because what do we do as a nation? We committed adultery on the Lord. Well, we belong unto the Lord, but what do? We committed adultery. Well, I want to link that up with Jeremiah chapter 3, verse number 1. So they say, if a man put away his wife, and she go from him and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? I mean, that's a question where you know the answer. No, you shouldn't return unto her again. It's no telling what she did. I mean, it's no telling what she did. Adultery don't just stop with one night. It could be multiple nights, multiple times, multiple things. You don't want to just stop with just, okay, well, I'll take her back. It wasn't that bad. It was one night. It says, another man shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land, and the land does what? It takes the seed. So, you have to tap into the spirit of what the Lord is saying. Shall not that land be greatly polluted? The Lord said it will be polluted. And you can't take and sow your field with diverse seeds. That's even in the law. So how much more you understand on a physical level? So the Lord said, But thou shalt play the harlot with many lovers, yet return again unto me, saith the Lord. Right? So what do we do as a nation? We went off and on top of idolatry and witchcraft, right? And worshiping other gods. But the Most High still granted us an opportunity to come back. But according to the law, that land would have been greatly polluted. And the Lord told you that you cannot do that. Right? When you read the book of Deuteronomy 25, Jeremiah 3, right? Isaiah 50, Matthew, right? The 19th chapter, Mark the 10th chapter. There are various precepts going into the same thing over and over again. You got it.
Quick precept, right? This is Malachi chapter 2 and verse 15. Let's start at 14. Yet ye say, wherefore? Because the Lord hath been a witness between thee and the wife of thy youth. So the Lord is a witness between you and your wife. What's going on in the house, which you may say to one another. You may think that you're getting away with how you're treating your wife. Right? A woman may think she's getting away with rebelling or doing God knows what to her husband in the dark. But the Lord is a witness between you and the wife of your youth. Right? Now, this is on another level, but we're breaking it down on a marital level. It reads, yet Malachi 2 and 14, yet ye say, wherefore? Because the Lord hath been witness between thee and the wife of thy youth, against whom thou hast dealt treacherously. Yet is she thy companion and the wife of thy covenant. So your wife is your companion, right? Somebody that you break bread with, somebody you fellowship with, somebody you suffer with, somebody you have mirth and joy with, right? So you can't deal treacherously against your wife. The Lord is a witness. And did not he make one? Yet had he the residue of the Spirit. And wherefore one? That he might seek a godly seed. Take therefore, therefore take heed to your spirit, and let none deal treacherously against the wife of his youth. So the Lord said, take heed to your spirit. Right? You sitting up there, putting your hands on your woman. Right? You sitting up there, you throwing the Bible at your woman. Shut up, it's time to read. Right? She's sitting up there, she's making unleavened bread, and you reach in front of her, you turn the oven off, right? Slam all of the pots, throw them on the floor, pull up a chair, sit down. What's Revelation chapter 15 and 4 going into? That's wicked, man. Right? She said, baby, how was your day? I love you. Well, how was your day, man? You know how my day was. You're bringing all these women in the house. She's sitting there doing this and closing her ears, and nobody knows what's going on. She hasn't eaten, man. You're coming in with food, and she's sitting up there. She's damn making ramen noodles, boiling the water. You coming in with damn steak and lamb, man. Eating in front of him, right? She asks for the hot sauce. You knock it down, man. Right? You bringing other women, kids all in the house. She got to take care of the kids. Change their diapers.
Oh.
I mean, all types of wickedness, man. Right? So brothers got to take heed how you deal with your wife or your youth. Here's the point, verse 16. For the Lord, the God of Israel, said that he hateth putting away. Let me read that again. For the Lord, the God of Israel, said that he hateth putting away. For one covereth violence with his garment, saith the Lord of hosts. Therefore, take heed to your spirit, that ye deal not treacherously. You see that? So everybody got to take heed to their spirit, man. Because the Lord is a witness to what's going on in your marriage, man. Right? A witness to how you deal with your wife, the structure, the order, the love, man. The joy you have with your wife, the mirth. Right? The times y'all pray, read, study, huh? Right? The conversations y'all have. And he's a witness to whatever folly and madness is going on. Right? So if you plotting on getting rid of your wife for God knows what, man, or you're a woman, you plotting on leaving your husband, you're looking for other men. Some women, they go from camp to camp to camp, huh? Using this camp, using that camp, and you're giving all these camps a different reason why you got put out the camp. I was with that camp because the doctrine was bad. Or I was with that camp because the leadership was off. And I was with that camp and I left them because they was out of order. No, it's just you committed adultery, man. You have 4 husbands. You're looking for 5. The adulteress hunteth for the precious life, is written, man, in Proverbs the 6th chapter. Right? You got it, King.
Con, I got this last precept on it.
Con.
Yeah, that's right. Right, it's Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 9. The Lord said, rejoice, O young man, in thy youth, and let thine heart cheer thee in the days of thy youth. Walk in the ways of thine heart and the sight of thine eyes. But know that for all these things, God will bring thee into judgment. Right? So the Lord said to walk in your eyes and the things that you want. Right? I mean, when you're young, you're supposed to marry, have children, enjoy yourself, take care of your kids, maybe take them to football practice, enjoy yourself, don't defraud yourself a good day. But you don't want to live a wicked life where, you're going from, woman to woman to woman, and you're not taking care of your kids. Right? Where you're going to man to man to man, and you're living yourself like a nigga in this truth. The Lord said, therefore remove sorrow from thy heart and put away evil from thy flesh, for childhood and youth are vanity. Right? This is other precept I wanted. I might gotta look it up. Rejoice with the wife of thy youth. That's the one I was looking for.
Is that not 11 and 9 Ecclesiastes?
Yeah, that's the one I just
Oh, you read that one?
Yeah, that's the one I just read.
That'd be 9 and 11.
Yeah. But nevertheless, through the spirit, you're supposed to rejoice with the wife of thy youth. Right?
9 and 9.
Right, count the what? It's Ecclesiastes 9 and 9. It says, live joyfully with the wife whom thou lovest all the days of thy life, of thy vanity. So the Lord said, live joyfully. So you don't want to be like a burden toward the situation. Oh man, all this, and you plagued and you feel some type of way about it. And the law shouldn't be burdensome. Right? When you come together, right, your arm isn't saying, oh, I got to pick this up and oh, I got to pick that up. No, they're all working together in unison because they all love one another. Right? Because if you got a burn mark, your other arm or your finger is going to use that ointment. It's going to all work together because you truly want yourself to be taken care of because you love yourself. The Lord said, he that is evil to himself, how could he be good to others? Paraphrasing greatly. In Ecclesiastes 14, Ecclesiasticus 14. So, I mean, you can't be evil to yourself because you'll never be good to anybody else. So you want to rejoice with the wife of thy youth, right, whom thou lovest all the days of thy life. I mean, there is no putting away. There is no spiritual fornication, right? Well, she did this and she did that. Well, she did this and she did that. Then you pray and you fast. And if things are at a point to where witchcraft or whatever case may be is in the house, then you have to live in separate houses. But that doesn't take away the fact of your duties as a husband to complete them. Now, the Lord did say, I want to get this quick precept too. If your wife moved to Jamaica, she changed her number, and you have no whereabouts to where she is, right? You're not going to be destroyed because you're not taking care of her, right? This is 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse number 14. It says, for the unbelieving husband, so like I'm gonna start at 15. But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. A brother or a sister is not under bondage in such case. So if they depart, meaning they move somewhere, damn Jamaica somewhere, right, to get low, right? They put shades on, right? They shave their head, they turn into a new person, right? And then they go somewhere far off and you can't find out where they are. The Lord isn't going to punish you and destroy you, right? Just because you can't uphold the things that are in the law, because it's not possible. You can't. Somebody kidnap your kids and take them to Mexico somewhere. Of course you want to take care of your kids and clothe them and feed them and be there for them and teach them. But I mean, at that point, are you not going to get the kingdom because you're not doing Deuteronomy 6 and 6? So the Lord said you're not under bondage. The bondage is the things that you have to do according to the law because you're not able to do them. But that's in very rare of cases. So the Lord said, a brother or a sister is not under bondage in such case, but God called us to peace. Meaning the Lord called us to a peace of mind, knowing both ways how to deal with the situation through the counsel and the precepts. So either way it go, you'll still have a peace of mind and knowing which way to go about it. Because when things are dealt with a matter and you don't know how to move about it, it leaves a frantic spirit and a fearful spirit. So the Most High has called you to peace and know how to deal with all of these matters. What you got?
That's it I had. And that's all I had. And we're gonna continue this series, Lord willing. Death to all false doctrine. Like I said, we got a lot we want to get into. I'm just shooting something off. Do you have to be baptized to be saved? How shall I do the miracles? Is hell a real place? There's a doctrine saying you can't get on the nations. There's certain prophecies happen already. The woman have to wear a dress. Can you cook on the Sabbath? Acts 10, lunar Sabbath. The Zechariah 3 talking about a mortal man. We have to wear fringes. Can you deal with prostitutes? Paul is not the word of the Most High. We're going to deal with Isaiah 14 and strangers. It's the full moon and new moon. When is the new moon? Sex on the Sabbath. Are we in Jacob's trouble? The mark of the beast, multiple wives, and more. So there's more that we want to touch on, and there's more that we want to get into even beyond that. So we're going to do this series, Lord willing, to touch on and even deal with the ones on the comment board, through the spirit of poverty. How about Shemel Shah? We could bring out closing precepts.
That's right. It's going to be mighty Most High willing. Right. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse number 2. And it reads, "Be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die, who have not found thy works perfect before God. Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee." Right, so the Most High is telling you through his beloved Son Yahushua to strengthen up these things which remain that are ready to die. So something's trying to die off every day. You have to perfect yourself in the spirit to strengthen up these things which are remaining. And that's where examination comes in. So continue to examine and strengthen up and be strong in the spirit. Don't be weak. Don't think it's okay to fall and it's okay to just, I'll just repent. I'll come back later. No, be strong. Have integrity, man. And strengthen those things up. The Lord likes somebody that's going to fight. The Lord loves a soldier, right? So you want to fight in this thing. And if you're not watching, the Lord said he's going to come unto you like a thief and blow your candlestick out. And a lot of people's candlestick, which is their spirit, is going to be blown out in the last days. So continue to watch and hold yourself diligent in the fear of the Most High.
That's right. It's Revelation chapter 22 and verse 12. It reads, "And behold, I come quickly, my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be." So every man and every woman is going to be rewarded according as their work shall be. Righteous works, there's a reward for that. The Most High is not forgetful he's not unrighteous, rather, to forget your labor of love that you bestowed toward his name, paraphrasing. Right? And the Most High is long suffering too. He will in no wise let thee go. To the Most High, he's going to remember the things that you have done on the left hand side, the evil side, and things that you have done on the right hand side in righteousness. So whatever work you're doing is your thoughts, your words, your deeds, how you deal with your brethren, how you serve the Most High. These things are going to be brought before you in the day of judgment. And you want to receive a diligent reward and a well done, thou faithful servant. Enter into the joy of thy Lord. Those are the things you want to hear. Or rather, you can hear, "Depart from me, right? Ye workers of iniquity, I never knew you." Right? Either you're going to hear two things, but "Depart from me," or "Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord." Right? So with that, we're going to close up. Giving, of course, our honor and glory to Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach from Brother Naquan.
Shalom, brother. Right.
From Yeshua. Shalom.